Hey, everybody, it's Tuesday. Welcome to the Giant Bombcast, episode 745, and thanks for tuning in on your morning drive. I'm sorry, that's very presumptuous of me to assume that you're driving right now, but hey, whatever. Whatever's clever, baby. We've got nothing but clear skies ahead. I'm your host, Jan Ochoa. Behind the wheels of steel, we got Jeff Grubb.
Howdy. These wheels are indeed steels.
On the 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s, we've got Lucy James.
Hello, hello, hello.
And
I don't know why I said that like RuPaul. I'm sorry.
No, but
great.
We should all say more stuff like RuPaul.
Absolutely.
Except for fracking, which we won't do.
Yeah, okay, that one. We'll steer clear from that one. And finally, with entertainment and weather section, because he's entertaining, Timur Hussein.
It's gonna rain.
Fantastic. That's the extent of all the radio terminology and like station identification that I remember from my radio classes. I think what the Bombcast has been missing though is like good DJ drops. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Jeff Grubb, give us a DJ drop right now.
No, I was literally just going to ask, what is a DJ drop? What do you mean by that?
Press a button. You know the button you want to press, Jeff.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Here it comes, everybody.
I want to fuck Toad.
What's that, Dan Ryder?
I want to fuck Toad.
Weird.
I forget that we have to institute that we gotta shy away from cussing in the first minute of the video. So maybe I gotta go back and beep that bad boy.
That came from a place of love and deep longing.
You know, like
the
a
YouTube
DJ
algorithm will understand.
Yeah,
yes.
They understand desire more than anyone else. And if a man wants to do that to Toad, then hey, let him be. Let him fly his flag.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. No kink shaming.
No kink shaming, except some kinks. We'll shame some kinks. A DJ drop, Mr. Grubb, is like when you say like a segment and then a voice like with a deep echo and reverb pop in. Like if I like game of the week, it's like game of the week with like a music sting and stuff.
You all have this, by the way. Like
yes.
What do you?
What are you using to do that?
Why do I have this?
Why don't y'all have Gogglers at this point?
Yeah, you gotta get those Goxlers. Go XLRs, man.
Oh no, I'm gonna.
You know the shiny Mixie boys, and then you can
hit the FX button. Who knows? I didn't like literally. I just everything. All my settings were saved. I hit the FX button. I didn't know what was gonna happen.
Go XLRs are so expensive.
Yeah, I just googled it. Jesus Christ!
Get the Go XLR Mini. You don't need the big boy.
No,
just get the
go
Mini.
for the big boy. Just go for
get
the big boy.
boy.
Can you make it happen with one of Elgato's XLR thingies? But then I have to get a new mic.
You can make it happen with
that.
You got an
using
XLR mic?
using
You got a
Wave,
USB
right?
mic. Oh.
Yeah, I'm using a Wave. Listen, I ain't got time for messing around with myself anymore.
Jeff expensive Bacalar. You just get him on the horn, make it happen.
Jeff, we need 2 Go XLRs and 2 XLR mics.
The
Why?
XLR mics, I think I got y'all on.
I got a couple XLR microphones just lying around. You guys can have one. There you go.
Tam, we literally we've borrowed green screens from work last week, so I'm sure we have stuff lying around.
Yeah, for sure.
There's so much stuff laying around. I feel so bad anytime I come back to the office and I see that Jean-Luc and Richard have made like wonderful displays of stuff. Meanwhile, you literally turn around and it's a pile of garbage because it's just all my stuff.
No, we've Jean-Luc has very kindly cleaned some of that giant bomb stuff.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah, he's like organized it. It's like it's getting cleaner and cleaner.
Now.
Yeah.
No.
Trust me, Jean-Luc loves that. Like
okay.
Jean-Luc is like I'm the same. Where if there's a nice big mess, I take great pleasure in cleaning it.
So you're saying that he is like the Marie Kondo to Giant Bomb?
Oh yeah,
exactly.
And if it doesn't spark joy, then Tam and I take it home.
Yeah,
lovely.
That's what Marie Kondo says.
Yeah, says it in her book.
Lucy, we had like a Monday morning meeting. It's Tuesday actually. So Tuesday morning.
It's Tuesday, innit?
And we did our regular catch up stuff, but something that you did that intrigued me is that you went to a county fair.
Oh, I was like, what the hell did I do? Yeah, no, I went to the Marin County Fair on Saturday with Greg and Jen Miller and my beautiful godson Ben. And this is the second county fair that I've been to since I've been in America.
Oh.
I was disappointed because I went to the Alameda County Fair, which was a lot more of an eye-opening experience, I feel. I wasn't expecting... When I went to the Alameda County Fair in 2019, there was piglet racing.
Yeah.
10 out of 10. There was an outdoor Smash tournament.
Oh. Outdoor.
Okay.
But then there were also loads of like pro-gun signs and pro-Trump things. So I was like, this, okay, this is a little different than the very liberal side of California that I have seen. But the County Fair in Marin, bit smaller. Food options still very good, and I was texting Tam because there was a lot of anime.
Yes.
Weirdly, like a lot of anime at the Marin County Fair. There was a big Pokemon stand. There was just an anime booth, which Greg and Jen did not allow me to look at because they said they was in my best interests. Not
Haters.
But also that means that I didn't get, accidentally spoil anything of JoJo for myself, inadvertently. But no, it was good. I partook.
It's partake.
I partook. I partiki.
Yeah, partiki.
In some classic fair foods. So we had turkey leg, which was $22.
Oh,
leg.
Okay.
For one turkey
Per leg.
That's
So,
like
you can
turkey to
buy.
pay for it.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So we had one of those. We had some corn, which they just got a thing of corn and stuck it in a vat of butter. It was amazing.
That's the move. That's the move.
And then we got a giant corn dog, which was like this big.
A lot of corn.
Lot of corn. And I had some lemonade, and we went and had some beers. It was a nice time, but I didn't get my deep fried lemonade, which is what I have been led to believe exists.
Yeah.
So.
American failure. That's the system failing you right there.
Yeah. No, so there's a show that was basically Bake Off, but for county fairs a few years ago called Deep Fried Masters. And basically people would get voted down, or like they wouldn't get as many points if you couldn't put it on a stick, because you need it on a stick to be able to walk down the fairway.
Sure.
And one of the things that they kept making was deep fried lemonade.
Deep fried.
How do you deep fry lemonade?
You got to give it a skin so you can put it on a stick. I mean, what's the skin made of? Jello? You encase it in Jello. It's probably not sturdy enough.
The powder, I don't know, but it was. I had a lovely time, and then I went home and had a nap, and then I went and saw Hades Town.
Oh my God! You saw Hades Town?
Yes, I did.
I love this show. I've been talking to Jess about it so much. The best train whistles in a musical. I don't think there are that many train whistles in a musical.
I mean, Starlight Express.
Is that the one with Zagreus in it, or
Orpheus?
Orpheus in Eurydice?
Eurydice.
Eurydice.
Yes.
Hermes, Persephone, Hades, all the greats. It was very good. It's the one that Cliff Blazinski has co-invested in.
Oh,
it's the one that Cliff Blazinski wrote his name next to.
I looked through the playbill. He wasn't there.
So everyone else is doing the hard work. Cliff is rolling up with some money. Like, come on.
Yes, that's right. The main characters, Morbius and Eurydice.
Okay,
love that Greek.
Which one does Greg Kasavin play? I can't remember.
He plays.
He's
all
in
of
the chorus.
Yeah, he plays the trombone. A lovely trombone solo. Let me tell you, I've been pro trombone.
Oh my God!
I thought that was going somewhere else.
I thought about it as soon as I said it. I'm like trombone, the musical instrument.
My heart. Oh my God!
We're not.
You love to bone, is what you're saying.
Yes. I'm pro boning. Yeah, because bones are the money and all that jazz. Oh boy, how do I segue out of that?
Have you ever been in a pie eating contest at a county fair? Yes, I have. Thank you for asking.
Okay.
What?
And
How many pies? You won?
Yeah, of course. Yes, of course I won. Yeah, I won. I don't know. There was there was probably like 8 other people competing. And I was just like, I'm just going to eat fast. It was pretty simple. You just start eating. You don't stop until you win. And everyone else was like giving up. And then right after I went on the Zipper, which is like, the big ride.
Was this
I was
recently?
fine. This was no more than 20 years ago.
Oh.
It
What
was
kind
like,
of pies are we talking about here?
Yeah.
You know, it was like mostly like they put like the whipped cream. It was like that kind of pie, not a made. They weren't spending
Wait,
a lot
so
of
like a
money on this
clown?
makeshift contest. Yeah,
A clown
basically.
pie?
I think so. I think there was like a crust in it and stuff, and you were supposed to eat all that stuff, and
Gotcha.
I did, but yeah,
You have to pay to enter.
Yes, generally.
I did not have to pay to enter. I
Oh.
don't think. No,
That's the move. If you go to a county fair and there's a pie eating contest, you don't have to pay to enter.
That was my
You
plan.
enter it, but you don't even have to try and win. You just get free
right?
pie.
You just yeah. You
I
bring
would
your own
enter, eat
silverware.
as slow as hell, and just be like,
Yeah.
I'm not here to win it. I'm here for one free pie.
We weren't
Oh,
allowed to
man.
use our hands or anything, so it was just like the face, like, eating like that. And it was a good.
Wait,
time.
was that genuinely you weren't allowed to use your hands?
Genuine, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Hot.
It was messy. It was a messy
weird.
boy summer, but
Weird.
hey, listen, that's the life I've chosen to live.
Oh, you know, I don't. Tam, Lucy, Grubb, did either of y'all catch the Nathan's hot dog eating contest this year?
I caught the highlights.
Is
of
that
course.
the one where the guy like Stone
Joey
Cold
Chestnut?
Stunners a protester?
Yeah, he the
Yes.
Glizzy Gladiator
That's
himself.
Joey Chestnut. Yep.
No, I missed this.
I tried to look into what that lad was protesting. Does anyone know what he was? Because
I
the
think
sign
so.
made no sense to me.
Didn't it? I thought it was a joke because doesn't it just say something about a Death Star or something?
Yeah, it's like something weird. It's
If
like
I type in Death Star,
defund the
Glizzy.
Death Star or something
I
like
think
that.
Death Star Glizzy. That's
Glizzy.
That's how I want to die. The Death Star Glizzy.
Mm.
That's how I want
Is
to go.
Ant Glizzy dead or alive? Oh, that's a
No,
rapper.
no.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
all of these search results for Death Star Glizzy.
Oh,
Maybe-
according,
just
according
about the rapper.
to one Dan Reichert, it's a pig factory in Utah or something.
So he was just doing some rogue advertising,
Some like,
Ah,
or was he actually protesting it?
I think they didn't know that Nathan's hot dogs are all beef.
Okay.
And then took it as a time to protest pork. But okay, no matter what your feelings
Okay, I'm
are,
watching. Whoa!
I'll protest some
That is
pork.
the noise you make when you watch a Joey Chestnut choke slam a fool.
It was
Yeah.
expose Smithfield Death Star.
Smithfield
Smithfield's
Death Star.
So I honestly, out of context, I didn't even know Nathan's was a brand.
Okay.
I thought
Sure.
this was
person.
I thought that was just a person. I thought you were just talking about, oh guys, you
Yeah,
see
old Nate.
Nathan's. I was like, who's Nate? And yeah, and then
I'm alarmed
Yeah,
at the
the
fact
Death
that
Star
Joey
stuff.
Chestnut seems to be someone of renown.
Dude,
Who's
he's
Joey
a local
Chestnut?
boy. He's a local boy. He's from San
He's
Jose.
won like 20, like it was like 15 years in a row, and his record is like 76 hot dogs in however long. This year he ate 66, and it was 20 more than 26 20 more than the next closest person. He's a hero.
I googled him, and the first image is a picture of him wearing a Nathan's t-shirt, and
Yeah.
he's got like a cup in his hand, and he's
Yep.
got
Dips in the water.
his mouth, and is like
Yeah.
it's exploding with like horrible bits of
I'm going to
food.
need you to be more respectful. The tone you're using to talk about Joey Chestnut sounds like disgust. I'm going to assume it's not, but it sounds like disgust.
It's just he's got a big mouth. He's
Yes,
got
he
an
does. That's very
absolutely huge gob. Oh my god, it is horrifying.
Bob.
we,
It is so
Does
scary.
Kobayashi have a big mouth? Because he was the one that like made competitive
Yeah.
eating like very popular. They're both like relatively like skinny guys for what their profession is. But does Kobayashi have a big mouth? I'm just gonna Google it.
Dude, why is his mouth
Does
so big?
but
Have you seen
okay.
We Are the
Kobayashi
Champions?
have
No.
a big mouth.
It's on Netflix. It's basically just a little mini documentary series about quote unquote weird competitions around the world. So they have the cheese rolling, but they also have a competitive eating one, and it's very good. I recommend you watch it.
I also
Because the
recommend,
way to eat hot dog buns is water.
yes.
I regret making that sound.
I
Lick 'em up,
recommend
guzzle them down.
I recommend that y'all check out Joey Chestnut's intro for this year's Nathan's
Yeah. Also very good.
hot dog eating contest, because the announcer, he's like getting really emotional. His hands is shaking because of so much like excitement for it. I'll link it in the chat here because it is gorgeous. I wish we could take time and
Take a look.
Dude, this
Look.
man's mouth is reminding me of the Langoliers. Remember the Langoliers?
Yes, yeah.
Stephen King,
If you dawdle, Joey Chestnut's gonna come and eat you up.
Yep.
He's
Yeah.
gonna eat yesterday. He's gonna eat today. Don't dawdle.
yeah,
Man's
maybe
a
I can.
Langolier.
We got a couple emails asking me to kindly stop talking about nugs for all our vegan listeners, vegan
Well,
and
they're vegan
vegetarian
nugs,
listeners.
right?
You can get vegan nugs.
Vegan nugs.
So I'll refrain from Nug Talk this week, but what I will never refrain from is talking about games. I need that to be like 5 seconds shorter, because then I'm just hanging
No.
there.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
It was
20
right.
seconds then. We're talking about games, and let's see, what do we got going on? Overwatch 2. Lucy and Tam, I think it's safe to say that both of you like and enjoy Overwatch 1.
You partiki in the Overwatch.
Yeah.
We do. For our sins, we
Are
are
our sins.
Overwatch likers.
Are the both of you like the Joey Chestnut of Overwatch?
As in, I eat Overwatch very quickly.
Sure.
Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm
Yeah.
implying.
Consume a lot of it?
Yes.
Yeah, I have a big Overwatch mouth, and I put a lot of Overwatch into it.
Lovely.
Is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess in that scenario, yes, we are the Joey Chestnuts of Overwatch. And interestingly, though, I haven't consumed much of it recently, as much as I want to.
We
Like we played
for
a
like
bunch.
3 hours yesterday.
Yeah, we played like 4 hours yesterday. That was fine. That's fun. It was good. But
That
I
was
want
good.
more. You know, I want more.
Yeah. I don't know. So we've been in the alpha, the first beta. This is the second beta. I'm sorry that I say beta. I was initially pretty down on it just because I didn't feel like the changes are very meaningful at the beginning of when we played the alpha. But I'm now all in, unfortunately.
Oh, what
I'm back.
has caused you to go all in though?
Just, an actual promise of content. The fact that, we have waited 2 years for like an additional, like proper meaningful content. It's been over a year since Echo, the last hero for Overwatch 1 was revealed and released. And so, we have an idea, like there's going to be a new hero every 2 seasons, which is huge. But also kind of worried about picks and bans because it's already kind of a bit all over the shop. But the game feels really, really good. And I think we used to play a lot on PC, and then we changed to PlayStation because we were playing with the IGN boys. I feel like I'm gonna have to go back to PC. I mean, there's crossplay now, so it's not that much of a big deal.
Okay.
But playing on console felt really slow and very frustrating for me yesterday. But when I was playing on PC the other day, absolutely dominating. And I am not good. Like, I mean, Moira, it doesn't really count. Moira, she basically just sprays piss everywhere, and then she pisses with one hand and sucks with the other. I'm sorry.
And there.
She'd do really well at a hot dog eating competition then.
She really would. She really would. But no, she just feels amazing on PC. But I was playing her on console yesterday, and I was like, ooh, I'm not doing so well. But I mean, Tam, they've messed up your Zarya again. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Zarya is still weird. She seems to be not. All the characters that I love to play seem to not be able to kill very much, which is annoying. She's like.
What's the common denominator there? I'm just trying to figure it out.
Thanks, me. But like, I love playing Zarya, but like, she feels like she doesn't. I think it's because maybe yesterday I was coming up against a lot of Junker Queens and like Junker Queen. Very last minute she can give herself like over health and that kind of stuff. So I felt like I was in long protracted battles. And I think also on console, my tracking isn't as good. So like when Genji started jumping around, I'm like, okay, well, there's no point in me trying to catch that Genji now because I can't like flick a mouse and turn and track him down. It's just that kind of like move on. But yeah, she feels, I don't know, she feels kind of old. She still feels like she's like a previous gen character, whereas everyone else feels like they're still quite dynamic and active. They did change her up a bit, where she has like she can use her immediately access 2 bubbles or stuff like that, and she can bubble 2 people or herself and one other person, that kind of stuff, which is a good strategic consideration. But I don't know, there was something about playing with her that she just felt kind of out of place. I'll never quit her, but she feels like and now more than ever, I feel like I need to come up with a secondary character to get a bit better with. Roadhog was originally my secondary, but like his combo of like hooking people, putting them in close, and then killing them used to be really satisfying, but they stopped like it's very hard to do that now. Like you hook people, bring them in, you shoot them right in the face, and then melee them, and they just walk away happily. And it's like, okay, what's the point of this? What is this character? Also, Zarya's ult is really weird. Where multiple times yesterday I did my ult, and people were just like walking through it casually as if it wasn't really there, weird. And I was like, what's going on here? This is there was
one point you set it off, and then people just walked out of it, and I was like,
I
remember they changed it that like Moira and Reaper could get out of it, but it was just very strange.
It was so strange, and it's not like another character ate it or anything. It was like the animation was playing, and it was like the ball was there, and people were just like acting like it wasn't even there. It's like, wow, okay.
But Sojourn's like slowing down thing feels more like what Zarya's ult used to be now, except that's more annoying.
How do y'all feel about the team sizes going down one? Has that affected y'all's like group at all? Of like someone sits out
or affected one of them?
The person you were going to kick out anyhow, obviously. That was really great. Affected one of them. Shit, jeez.
We had like we have the console team, not team, but we also have like the PC group, and there was 6 of us in the there's like an ever rotating group on console, but on PC there was like the 6. And now we have to figure all that out. Like I mean we're looking at stats. Well, no, we're not really. I don't know. It's just like
who's holding us back. Yeah, I think we'll be fine, just because most of the time it's like one of them's like, you know, always gonna be unable. Like I've got to look after the kid, or you know, and also it's fine where if all of us get on, like I don't know about everyone else, but I'd be like, I'm happy to sit this one out and just like hang out. I'll just look like surf Twitter for a bit, or you know, go and get a drink while you guys get a few games in, and it will be fine. But it would have been good if they had like an option for like 6v6, but like Jeff, I want to say Kaplan, but it's not Kaplan.
You mean Aaron?
It's Aaron Keller. Yeah. I was like, Jeff Kaplan, he's still there. Aaron Keller was like, they are thinking about ways that they can at least keep groups together, if not playing together. And one of the things that he mentioned was like a potential idea is like having it so like one person will spectate, and then you can tag in and out like between games and that kind of stuff, which would be good. Like I'd love to be able to just watch everyone else
that
while they
cool.
play. But it's gonna break some groups up.
It's gonna shatter relationships.
They should provide mediation and counseling. That should be built in. Like they're doing people dirty here.
What are they gonna do with some of these like Overwatch League teams? Is they just gonna have like a dude hang out now?
Well, they always have like folks on the bench.
Oh, okay.
You know,
it just means it'll be interesting though. That is a good kind of like question about team composition and setup for Overwatch League. I don't know how kind of like they're gonna approach that, but it just mixes things up, and it also is gonna lead to like some players being like, well, maybe I should start looking for another team because I'm not being played, and you know, that kind of stuff.
Moving into Valorant.
Yeah, or even other games. Yeah, interesting stuff is afoot.
Can I ask about is Junker Queen OP? The thing you described earlier sounded pretty nasty and gnarly.
She's ridiculous. Like, and this is always the case whenever a new hero launches into test. Like, she has a blade that she throws called Gracie, and anyone she hits when she recalls it, it applies a bleed effect, and then she gets over health from that. She has an axe that she swings, same deal. She has a shout that is basically like a haste, and so applies it to her and everyone around her in like quite a big circle. And then her ult is like I would say her ult is maybe the worst bit. It's like just a charge going in. But if you are a very, very good, and she's got like a kind of shotgun type thing, so she's not great from range. But if you are getting in there, applying that bleed, applying that overhealth, she's pretty unkillable.
Yeah, and then if you also have a healer on the team, which most teams do, she's getting even more heals. So she is like, just feels unkillable at times. You have to really focus her down, which is tricky. Jeff Grubb is currently making a balloon for his daughter, which is incredible. It's the most adorable thing I've ever seen. It's the most
wholesome thing I've ever seen.
I just love that. I just love that in 2020, a kid has just appeared and been like, "Can I have this balloon?" And that's it.
It's been my entire day.
It's very sweet.
They're having a balloon party for their friends in their playroom with all with their friends being all their toys, all their little toys.
Oh my god!
There's a toy cake on their table and stuff. They're balloon party.
Lovely.
That's what's happening
Lovely.
today.
That
The
is
fastest
so
way to deal with that
cute.
situation was yes, you may have this balloon. So yes.
When is Jeff Grubb going to be a character in Overwatch 2 and all he does is just fill up balloons? That's all I need.
Balloons. I'll be balloon animals and stuff. Yeah, minions.
That sounds pretty good, actually. I'm sure they can make that work.
You know what else is pretty good, and I'm surprised they made it work? Fire Emblem's Warriors 3 Hopes.
Oh,
Talked about this a little bit last week, and Jeff Grubb, I'm here to report that it still has its hooks in me. I have tried the auto battle portion of this.
Okay.
And I've bumped the difficulty down. So I'm pretty much just playing a visual novel right now with occasional occasional relationship building, because I could care less for the actual warriors portion of this game.
Yeah.
There are occasional moments where it's like, that's pretty hilarious that this one character is like killing and maiming hundreds of people just by one button press. You have attacked everyone on this map. But it just eventually got very, very old. Especially with the characters that don't use like a melee weapon. All like the spellcasters, the archers or whatever. It's like, this is just awkward. This is
you're just hitting a button to watch animation and that's it. Yeah.
What is gaming but pressing a button to watch an animation persevering?
Right. You can't go down that road because then it's like, oh my god, what have I been doing with my life?
Wait, so hang on. Wait, Jeff. Not Jeff, sorry. Jan, who are you kind of like taking out to tea?
So I'm just hanging out with my boy Claude, just love going on horseback rides with Claude. All the golden deer. And I just really, really hate Nintendo and the developers of this game because they've done it. They got me to play through a Warriors game, and I'm trying to play through it as little as possible. The times where I'll actually engage and play the missions is when it is like one of those bigger sweeping maps, because it actually feels like there's tactics involved, and it kind of reminds me of Fire Emblem in some senses of like, all right, I got to send my person with an axe to fight this person with a shield because that's more effective. But it's like the smaller battles that just like they don't really feel like they matter. I'll just hit auto battle and then let's just fucking go. All right, cool.
What happens when you hit auto battle? You hit auto battle and then what appears on your screen? What inputs do you have at this point? It just happens?
It just happens. The mission happens. You get graded. I think it's funny.
Okay, so it's like graded. Simulating a game in like Madden or something.
Yeah, so because you are leveling up your characters throughout these missions, it takes all of that into account. And since I have everything bumped down to super duper easy, like none of it actually really matters. And when I eventually do pop into a mission, I am just gaining levels out the wazoo. So what I'll do is I'll switch to a character that feels underleveled, run around the map and destroy a bunch of enemies that way. And then you're off to the races and cooking. It's the story that I am so surprised is able to just get me in there. I still wish this followed a formula similar to Persona 5 Strikers, because that was less Muso than full Muso, in that you engage in these encounters and then you fight like a mob of enemies versus constantly fighting a mob of enemies. I think the thing that's just also making me want to play the game less is I'm just noticing more and more how ugly everything other than the characters is. It's starting. I think the Switch lately has been showing its gray hairs more so. I
mean, you've seen the Steam Deck, so the comparison there is really tough at this point.
So you're saying that the gameplay part of this is more Muso-so?
Yes, it's
fucking Christ. I was going to do the Rob Zombie, more Muso than less Muso, or whatever he said, but that was way better. Damn, Jesus.
More so Muso than Musos of the past. I
followed.
Yeah, thank you.
I got that.
But it's kind of a tough recommend because it is a full price title. But if you really do like the story of Three Houses and you got really attached to your respective house, minus the sewer rats.
Hey, in this economy, I can't even get attached to one house.
Heyo. We don't have a sound
Yeah, quick.
That is funny.
Sorry. That's what I got.
Maybe that's a different type of rim shot there when you think about it.
Mhm.
All right.
Oh.
Speaking about cracks, Jeff Grubb, you have an analog pocket, and you've been doing some nefarious things to it.
I have. I love crime. So the Analog Pocket is an FPGA-based little handheld thing. Came out a while ago. Everyone was wild for it when it first came out, and you haven't heard much because it's a weird thing where when you think about getting a handheld made in China, these days you think about getting like a little Android device or a little Linux device that just a lot of times will just ship with a bunch of ROMs illegally on there. Like that's like the reality of the situation. And you can, go, if you don't have a certain game, you just go online, you can find it, you can get your backups, whatever. Again, we're talking about crime here. Analog Pocket has, you needed the cartridge to make this work. And It turned out actually that wasn't the case. So I've been waiting for them to put out the jailbreak OS version for the Analog Pocket, something Analog has sort of done through back channels in the past with all of their other FPGA-based systems. That hasn't happened with the Pocket yet. Turns out you didn't really need to do that because it has Game Boy GB Studio built in, which is this little thing where people can make games today, basically for Game Boy hardware, but then you could just run it on the Analog Pocket using .pocket files. Well, someone created a tool to basically translate any Game Boy ROM into a .pocket file. Then you just store it on the Analog Pocket, and you're good to go. And so you can run, the colorized versions of some Game Boy games. I've been running a lot of fan translations. I finally played The Frog for Whom the Bell Tolls, which is from that team where they make Link's Awakening. I started playing that. I'm like, this is fantastic. So it's like, I was already having a pretty good time with it. My big problem with the Analog Pocket was when I would use the EverDrive, I'd start a game, and then you couldn't put it into sleep mode. It's like, this cartridge does not support sleep mode. For me, that sort of broke the magic of it because I need to be able to turn it off and on a lot. I'm doing a lot of things during the day. I might use it when I'm going potty or something like that. And I know, when I'm done, I'm going to turn it off and set it down on the counter and then, go on with my life. Well, if I have to turn it completely off and get back into a save, it just wasn't working for me. So having this option where it works with all that stuff has been fantastic.
Okay, here's
Did like a little bit of dad creep in there because you said going potty?
Yeah,
it has fully become going potty for me every time I talk about it. I talk to my wife, no kids around, I got to go potty. It's just, that is what it is to me now.
Lovely.
Yes.
Someone who used to work here tried to make BioBreak a thing.
No.
Yeah.
So I kind of prefer going, but I'm British, so I can't say potty.
Oh,
yeah, dropping the kids off at the pool.
Either.
Panties, yeah.
Dropping the kids off at the pool is the one that I like to use.
Yeah.
I want to drop the kids off at the pool.
Taking a shit.
I was just about to say that. I was like, I just say I'm gonna go take a shit.
Because then, when someone says
I actually,
meeting, it's like,
what I usually say is I'm going to wreck some porcelain.
Yeah, you do say that.
Yeah.
Actually, no, you just say I'm gonna go drop some tweets.
Yeah, drop some tweets.
I sometimes say I need quiet time, and then I just disappear for an extended period of time.
Good half an hour, yeah.
Tam's prepping to.
Oh, let's pour.
Oh wait, are we doing a big pause?
Get your diuretic.
Pause? Yeah. Okay, you want it on?
Grubb, stop. Don't pour too much. That was lovely. I love that we all had a carafe next.
We're all ready to go.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks so much fancier than mine. Mine is just like the classic
a French press.
French press from Target.
I think I got mine from IKEA.
Oh, you did? Yeah. That was Tam and I on a Monday not too long ago just went to IKEA on a Monday night and it was fantastic.
It was wonderful.
Lovely.
I blame 500 Days of Summer for me thinking that is like a lovely thing to take a potential partner to. And it is not. Don't take a date to IKEA.
No, don't do that.
Oh, I would never do that. But Tam and I have been friends for so long that I feel like we can survive.
We're comfortable.
If you're going with homies, it's a lovely time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I just want to say that sometimes when you take people to IKEA and they just want to go straight to Market Hall, I'm like,
no. Every time I go to IKEA, if I only go to IKEA with people that I know are going to do the full tour each time, even if nothing's changed, you have to do a full tour. 100%.
I like doing the shortcuts because it feels like video game, but you have to do that after doing the full tour.
That's
like,
that's
and
like
then you
in
can go find the
Tunic,
shortcuts.
you know, like you can't just jump to it. You got to like take the detours, explore first, and then you can go back to the rugs.
Yeah, it's neon white.
Right.
You do one normal run, and then you come back, and you hit F on it, and then you start like doing shortcuts.
Speaking about neon white, I just wanted to throw out a quick plug. This Thursday, we will be having the first ever neon white open. Tam, I believe you're going to be there. Jeff Grubb, of course, you're going to be there. Dan Reichert, and we have some. We have some plans. We've opened up
some
doors,
people,
some things.
Some things, some stuff, some peeps. What else is popping off in the world of video games? Oh, Jeff, is it time? Is it time?
Yeah, it's time. Absolutely.
It's time for the.
Are they coming with more balloons? Yes, it's time. You talk about Cuphead Delicious Last Course?
Game of the week. Cuphead.
Yes, let's do it.
The delicious last course. And these balloons.
They are so cute. No, it's it's the fact that like I'm so easily influenced to buy things. Also Jan, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, we got it. I was telling Jan before you two logged on that I'm in the middle of buying an under the desk treadmill.
Oh, nice.
From Facebook Marketplace, and Facebook Marketplace is the Wild West, but Lucas is coming through. Anyway, I'm so easily influenced. Like, I got influenced by this from fucking TikTok of all places. I got influenced to get my Steam Deck pre-order in because we were on GameSpot After Dark. And so now I'm just like, oh, how much is Go XLR Mini? Because it would be cool if I could do my deep voice. The only deep voice I can do now is the Elizabeth Holmes Theranos woman.
Can we preview it? What's the lowest everyone can go? Just real quick.
Low?
Yeah.
I can go low. How low do you want me to go?
How low can you go?
What do I need to say in low?
Just say Cuphead.
Cuphead.
Okay.
Cuphead.
Lucy?
Cuphead.
Yes.
What was that?
I can't go low.
That's the last thing you're going to hear before you die.
No.
Cuphead.
The lowest I could go is genuinely like the "Welcome to Theranos" voice that I've been perfecting. Cuphead. There you go.
We got to get you doing VO somewhere.
I do a lot of it on GameSpot.com. Baby.
I need it for
We're doing a lot of review VOs.
I need it for a show. Oh wow, that wasn't me.
What was that?
That's cheating. That's cheating. You've got a Go XLR. Another way to influence into buying a Go XLR. I'm not buying a Go XLR. It's $400. Oh my god.
Oh, it's gone down then.
Yeah, it was
Oh my god.
Are you saying it's some deal? In which case,
this is a deal.
When is Prime Day? Now?
Prime Day
like
is all
next
day,
week,
baby.
It's like a week from now.
Go XLR Mini is $200.
Yes.
That's
Stop it.
Cuphead. That's like the lowest. I think I could go lower if I.
Cuphead.
Lower.
Lower.
Anyway,
Low.
Game
It's
of
good,
the week.
Jan. It's good.
It is very good. And you know what is the opposite of good? Bad, right? And that is me at this game. Continues to be absolutely dog crap at this game. I really I fired it up after watching the quick look you and Dan did last week, Grubb. And I was like, wow, this game looks so gorgeous. The music is fantastic. I remembered that I owned it in like 3 platforms, so I downloaded one of those. I was like, wow, this game still looks beautiful. And then I got to the first boss and instantly died. And it is just very frustrating that I just can't.
It is still that game.
Good.
It's still that game where it's going to ask you to learn the patterns, and the patterns are never going to be some like easy, predictable thing. They are going to vary every single time, and they're going to intersect in different points where there's no safe place on the map or anything like that. It's kind of what that game needs to be because otherwise it is just like this pretty movie happening in the background that you're filling up with bullets and stuff like that. And again, we can go down that thing, and like every game is basically that. But still, it's like with these beautiful animations, you kind of need a lot going on to kind of keep you moving around that screen and keep it feeling like you're a big part of the action.
Yeah.
I'm into it. I've always liked Cuphead. And I think I'm glad that they did this. They put this much effort into this DLC. It was definitely worth it. It's like, okay, coming back and not half-assing it and having quite a bit of content for this thing. It's this is really well done. So I was really happy with it.
Yeah, I honestly didn't think that they needed to go out and release like the delicious last course, because it felt like they didn't have anything left to prove, because it just looks fantastic, sounds fantastic. The gameplay is incredibly challenging, and that is not a thing that is too common nowadays, especially presented in the beautiful wrappings that it's already in. But I really enjoy playing as is it Ms. Chalice? I forget her name.
Yeah, Ms. Chalice. Yeah,
Ms. Chalice. Yeah, she plays. Grubb, how would you describe it? It's fairly similar, except for the parrying stuff. It's more of a.
Well, I mean, she is basically like at the bare bones all the same moves, but then they all go, it offshoots in slightly different directions. She has a double jump, the other characters don't. She can parry, but not when she not when she hits the A button to jump or to activate the parry. Instead, it is when she's dashing. She has a dash, and then she can crouch and do a roll with iframes. So you can play the game in a very, very different way. I've seen a lot of people playing Cuphead like on Twitch and stuff. A lot of them aren't using Chalice, I think, because she plays so much differently, but people just aren't used to it. They can't get the parry down because they're used to like jumping into the bullets, and you time that jump so that you can activate the parry at the right time. Here, it's like you got to jump and then dash right into it immediately. It's like you really have to think differently. I got used to it pretty quickly, but I've seen a lot of people sort of just ignoring her. I think they're gonna I'll beat the DLC, then I'll go back and play the whole game with her, is what I think a lot of people are going to end up doing.
Playing as Miss Chalice occasionally reminds me of playing Mega Man X because of the dash. And I think playing as her felt a little bit better for me personally, especially after taking some time and not playing normal Cuphead or base Cuphead. And that double jump, I could definitely see, if you were very familiar with the patterns of this game, throwing you off so completely, because I was just jumping into stuff left and right because I was just used to my verticality being a certain way because of the limited jumps with Cuphead and Mega Man. But that dash, I feel like I wind up being more aggressive with it, because instead of hopping off of something after you parry it, I'm just getting in closer and tighter to the bosses. And
then when you do get distance, you can start using that roll and be like, okay, there's now out here, there's only one thing coming at me, and I could time it just right so they roll right through it, and now I don't have to jump around everywhere. You do play very differently.
Yeah. Tam, Lucy, any interest in Cuphead in the past? Have you taken a sip before?
I have supped. I know that I'm not great at it. I managed to do the first island, and then I was like, I'm getting too angry at it, and like I'm kind of one of those people who will jump off things, and I'll be like, I'll come back to this later. I'll never come back to it. So I never finished Cuphead. I did do the first island though. I did. I do have a code for the DLC, so maybe this is because it is kind of a bit of a lull period right now. I don't. I finished Elden Ring. I'm doing Neon White, but I don't. You know what I have done? Started hyperfixating on The Sims again, as I do every summer.
Okay.
So I'm just kind of looking.
Summer.
Exactly. There's a new expansion coming out. So I'm looking for something, but I don't know if Cuphead's going to be that thing, that I can really. I'm looking for a meaty RPG.
Is it finally time to dip into FF14 for you?
I've told you this last week. I told you this mere weeks ago that we should get into it.
Hey, I've also been playing it on the side here. Maybe we could all.
Can we turn this into content?
I'm not playing that nerd shit.
Can we turn this into content?
I know a certain boy that loves Final Fantasy 14. Shouts out to him. You already know who I'm talking about. That ass.
But that's the thing. Like Jake Decker on the GameSpot side, he has been regaling us with tales of pushing through A Realm Reborn. And I will hop off that shit. I know that my attention span is already bad enough, and if stuff is not engaging with me,
that's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
But then I've been on calls with Michael when he's been watching like a new trailer or something, and he's cried, and I'm like, I want to get that.
Michael cries at everything though.
I want to feel.
I've had dinner with Michael a lot, and he does cry at everything.
He cries at literally everything.
He's like the Tanjiro of a friend group.
Yeah, absolute crybaby.
Yeah.
What
Shouts
if I
out to
just
him,
played
though.
Final Fantasy 12 again?
That's good too.
That's a good game.
What about
That's a good game.
perhaps Monster Hunter? Sunbreak coming out.
I do want to get into. I do want to finally get into
get
Monster Hunter. I need to get into.
Lucy,
Monster.
we played World together, and you bounced very quickly.
Yeah, but what if this time I didn't?
Monster Hunter Rise.
This time it works for us. Yeah.
Speaking of Muso games, and Jan, you mentioned it earlier, I never finished Persona 5 Strikers.
Oh, there you go. That could be
So
it.
that could be my...
That could be the meaty center to get us through the summer.
I'm gonna play.
Summer.
I'm gonna play Cuphead. I'm gonna play the DLC.
Do it. Yeah,
but
you're gonna
also,
really like it,
yeah, but also, I've been looking for that meaty game to get into again. So I started Tales of Arise again yesterday. I only got like an hour or two in, and so I was like, you know what? I've heard nothing but good things about Tales of Arise, so I'm gonna try and get into it. And so far, the combat is great. I've been enjoying the combat a lot. The story is starting to build to something. It's very archetypal currently. It feels very anime, and I'm not like super invested in it. But I like the setup. It does that thing where that anime people and Japanese writers love to do, where they give their characters names that are far too long. Like there's like some of the characters, they say the name, and I'm like, that is deeply embarrassing. I can't believe someone wrote that name down and was like, this is good. It's like King Julius of Ventus falling downstairs, Lordus the Third, and I'm like, just fucking call him
Adbacius.
Yeah, it's just like, Christ, what is going on with these names? So cringy, and it's like, oh god. But that aside, it feels good to play. It's a nice vibrant game. It's going places that I'm interested in, so maybe Lucy, you should check out Tales of Arise.
Yeah, you might wind up liking it. There's Tam, how far would you say you're into it, hours wise?
I'm only like an hour or two in.
Oh boy, like when you hit hour 3 or 4, you're gonna instantly love the game.
Yeah, I have been further, but it was so long ago now that I was like, I'm just gonna restart. So I just saw the core thing happen for the first time.
Okay.
With what's her face. So it seems really cool. It's like a very fun setup. Like you find a character who's like, anytime someone touches her, like she drains them of their life, and then your character is someone who just is incapable of feeling pain. So like they kind of like come together, and you're like, oh, it's a good pairing. She's hurting everyone, and he can't feel the pain. So great, they all work great together. So it's fun. Yeah. I'm liking where it's going, and the combat is super satisfying and simple as well. It's very like simple, but like it has some depth to it, which I like. So I'd recommend that. It's worth checking out.
Yeah, once you get to the spellcaster lady, I forget her name. The combat can get very complicated, but in a good and satisfying way, where you're like charging up a spell, saving it, and then at the end you're just firing off 700 magical spells at the same time. Anyone else futzing around with some stuff? Lucy, you mentioned Sims, Tales of Arise for Tam. Grubb, any other miscellaneous things?
I started Death Stranding Director's Cut on my Steam Deck. I think I'm maybe in that same sort of like looking for something as everyone else. I'm like, I kind of like that game the first time I played it. I didn't fall in love with it. I had some issues with it where I was kind of looking for it to be a little bit more like cruel to me. Like when I drop a package, I don't want the package to disappear. I want to be like, no, you need to go back and get that package. I'm like over that now. So okay, I'm just gonna accept what this game is. It seems like it's a road building simulator, and that's actually what the magic of it is. And so I'm like, that's what I'm gonna go to it for.
How far in are you?
I'm like just getting to that point where like now that because I restarted it Director's Cut, I'm getting to that point where you can build roads again. So it runs really well on the Steam Deck. It's really good on
later in the game. It does become quite cruel. Where you're like,
okay, that's what I'm looking for. So that's good to hear. That's what I want, because I like it when a game's immediately just mean to me and just like, hey, you messed up. Step on me, video game. Exactly. But it's
I've been really thinking about going back to that game because I never finished it. And as a self-confessed Hideo Kojima fanatic, I owe it to myself to go back and finish it. I think I was playing it at such a slow pace that I just fell off it, if you know what I mean. I did that on purpose. Yeah, I fell off and tumbled all the way down. But I was playing it at such a leisurely pace, which was the intent. I wanted to play it as slow as possible. That I think I just got distracted and didn't come back to it, if you know what I mean. So now maybe this is a good time to kind of focus in on it and get all the way through it.
I did that for a while because I don't remember finishing Metal Gear Solid 5, and I was like, let's play maybe the best game of all time. And turns out it's one of the best games of all time. Still.
Oh yeah,
it's so good.
Yeah. Oh god,
that's another good one on the Steam Deck. I love. I've been playing that when I first got the Steam Deck. It's really good on there.
Speaking about the Steam Deck, Jensen,
your email?
I got my email yesterday.
You got his email.
I got my Q3 email. And then the thing is, I'm leaving for vacation this Friday. I'm crossing my fingers that Gabe just hops on a red eye and just delivers it to me.
You got a Q3 email?
Yes.
Yeah, apparently everyone in Q3, just like almost everyone got it on the first day.
Me and Minotti, baby.
Mike and Jay were still waiting and they got their Q3 and you don't have it yet?
Yeah.
You might be a Thursday email because I don't think Jake Decker from GameSpot got his either. And him and I were Q3 buddies.
You're probably up next.
Look, I'm looking. The last Steam email I got was Steam support. Purchase. Your Steam account access from a new web on my wallet. God damn it.
If you fire up Steam, it will give you a big honking alert saying that like, yo, this is ready to buy. You ready to buy it? So you can't miss it as long as you're firing up Steam every day, I guess.
I do fire up Steam frequently.
There we go. So maybe it'll be time eventually, Lucy. Maybe it'll be time. But you know what it is time for? It's time for a break. What about that? Let's talk about some news after this break, perhaps?
Yeah, let's do that. I got a bunch for you. I got some hot news happening on the Twitters right now. So we'll talk about
that. Sadly, Jana, I've got some bad news for the break. So we'll discuss that privately.
Yes.
Oh, lovely. All right, faded to black. Bills. Truebill, baby. From forgone free trials to automatic renewals, but these big companies keep charging you. Truebill is your secret weapon to save you money on subscriptions you don't need. Did you all know this? That Truebill is the new app that helps you identify and stop paying for subscriptions you don't need, want, or simply forgot about. On average, people save up to $720 a year with Truebill because companies make subscriptions hard to cancel. You gotta go through 5 different web pages, call 3 different people, receive a text, verify yourself in 2 ways, and then mail something to that. Truebill makes it incredibly simple. Just link all your accounts and Truebill will cancel your unwanted subscriptions in one tap. Just like that. And your Truebill concierge is there when you need them to cancel unwanted subscriptions so you don't have to. Speaking from experience and someone that has signed up for a bunch of odd trials for a bunch of weird things, Truebill has helped me cancel those and save myself a little bit of cash. Truebill has over 2 million users and has helped them save over $100 million. I'm not the best at math, but I think the math checks out that there are a lot of people now saving a lot of money thanks to Truebill. Just like Matthew B., who says,
in a matter of seconds, I save $660 for the year on my DirecTV bill, save $120 on the year on my SiriusXM bill, and save $840 a year on my car insurance.
Wow, Matthew B., you seem like a very handsome person now that you're saving all this money. And you too at home can be handsome and save money by using Truebill. Don't fall for subscription scams. Start canceling today at truebill.com/bomb. Go right now, truebill.com/bomb. It could save you thousands a year. You could be like Matthew B. and all his savings.
Yeah, be like me, Matthew B., and save all this money!
I've done something dangerous recently, and this is just because I have a problem with coffee. that I feel compelled to continue drinking it during the nighttime, but because I make coffee here at home, it's generally stronger than what you're going to find. Yes, I'm a truly broken person. But now on top of buying my regular coffee, I'm also now buying bags of decaf to get my fix at night. It's terrible.
Okay. It's good, though. It's good you switch to decaf.
It's smart.
No, I'm getting decaf in yes.
At night.
Because I'm getting decaf in addition to everything. It's terrible.
I drink mostly exclusively decaf when I can. Yeah. I'll have like one. Yeah, because I reached a point where I was consuming so much caffeine that it genuinely impacted my actual body. Like can
I be fully honest about what happened with the Nintendo Direct? I drank a Bang for the first time in like 2 years at like 8 p.m. and then was just up all night. Because I was moving and I was trying to get boxes out of the garage, and we're like, I'll just do this real quick. I lost track of time.
Yeah, for me, like it ruined, like it like messed with my bladder. Like it was messing with, it was causing like weird things to happen to me. So I was like, I gotta stop. I gotta ease off. So now I did like a detox where I just purged all caffeine. And then I slowly, I stopped drinking all caffeine for a really long time. And then I introduced decaf, which has a small amount of caffeine. And like worked on that. And now I'm at a stage where I can drink a cup of coffee or two a day. But I try it. But that's the max I go for. After that, I try and be decaf.
Let me tell you, it is a major problem with me. It is borderline concerning occasionally. Grubb, do you think you're going to continue being part of the Bang Gang?
No, not after that. The thing is, like, caffeine's definitely like self-medicating for me. Bang was the wrong choice because like most of the time these things don't have any effect. I feel like, and I'm like, I can go to sleep right now, no problem. That one, no, not so much.
Unless you're Revolver Ocelot, in which case he loves a bang.
All right, with that, I think it's time for the news. See, that 10-second stinger didn't feel as long as the what you've been playing one. Maybe I should just get a xylophone in here.
Irrespective of anything else, you should have a xylophone. Yeah. Absolutely.
What about a slide whistle? A train whistle. I'll get a train whistle.
Oh, yeah.
Train whistle, yes, absolutely.
Great.
Grubb, what's
Facebook
happening?
Marketplace, probably. Yuji Naka is tweeting. Yuji Naka has decided to tweet. This is one of the people responsible for Sonic. Here's what he tweeted right before while we were doing that first segment.
More importantly, one of the people responsible for Balan Wonderworld.
One of the people.
Give him his flowers.
Now, related to Balan Wonderworld, he has tweeted, "How would you feel if you were suddenly removed from a game that you had worked hard on for over 2 years, and when you went to court, you found out that they had been talking about me behind my back in court documents, and that is why I was removed from the game." So the perspective shifted on that a couple of times, but apparently he's saying that, okay, I don't really fully understand like what he's trying to say here, but basically the more drama with Balan Wonderworld, a game that he worked on, was removed from like as the game was getting ready to come out. And then, like in that 6 months between that period, like that happening, it came out 6 months later. There has been some back and forth in court with this game. I think specifically related to him being taken off of it. But yeah, he's saying that they talked about him behind his back, and so they removed him from the game. Again, I'm not sure what the timeline here is, but the bottom line is Balan Wonderworld, Yuji Naka, that stuff continues to be pretty messy. Yuji Naka, I'm not sure if ever going to be able to like work with like a company like that again. He'd probably have to like do his own thing, which he has been. I mean, I guess after Balan Wonderworld, does anyone expect him to want to make a big game again?
I think he might be disenfranchised. Yeah,
I think he's done, which is sad, but at a certain point, like you just, I reckon he could come back in a couple years' time with his own thing and be like, I think the thing that I really struggle with is what is Yuji Naka outside of Sonic and
Knights
experiences that are very close to it. Like I think the thing that really I struggle with is seeing these big creators come back and do the same thing. It rarely works. Like maybe Iga, it worked for with like he did Castlevania and then Bloodstained, and it was like, okay, you pull that one off. for some people. But like Yuji Naka constantly coming back to be like, I'm basically farming nostalgia. I don't know about that, man. Like you got to do something more. Like you have to, and like the problem is also like he's not landed those attempts. But if Balan Wonderworld, sadly, like he was like obviously tricky, that whole development process, but like you don't get many chances at redoing the thing that people know you for before people just start being like, okay, you're just trying to sing that same old song, but you can't hit the high notes anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
I think reading this
Carry too. Dang.
Yeah, have that, Mariah.
Reading this, like I think he said, okay, they were talking about behind my back, and he found out through the court documents is probably what he's trying to say. So, I mean, that game, like being removed 6 months before it came out, like getting an extra 6 months to work on that game wasn't going to save anything. That game was never what it was supposed to be, and you could tell that obviously like things were probably scoped out in a certain way and scaled way back. Those segments where you get to finally play as Balan, and what you end up doing is watching a cutscene, and then you wait for a JPEG, and then a JPEG with an opacity set to 50%, moving over each other, and then when they line up, you hit a button. Like that was like the Knights segment where like you're flying around. Like you weren't flying around, you weren't doing anything like that. And I imagine at one point they were scoping it out, be like, hey, you will be flying around. This is going to be the Knights portion of the game, and won't that be something that people want? A AAA Knights game or whatever. Well, it got nowhere near that based on what we got, what we actually played from that game. Talking behind his back, I think I feel bad for Yuji Naka at this point.
Sure.
It does feel like things got away from him, but nothing was going to save that game.
Also, I think at this point, if there are court documents where your former employer is talking mess about you, I think the last thing to do is add fuel to that fire, because then the public opinion is already siding with you of like, oh, maybe Balan Wonderworld didn't hit its mark because they let him go. Instead of like continuing down the path of like, it would have been amazing if I finished it.
Release the Naka cut.
Oh boy.
There you go. Oh,
I had a title.
There we go.
Now I have the title.
There you go.
Sucker Punch confirmed there is no Infamous or Sly Cooper game in development. This is by Ben Borthwick on Video Gamer. In a blog post from the studio, the developer said it was proud to look back on the series that it had created. These have included the aforementioned 2, and most recently, the wonderful Ghost of Tsushima that released on PS4 in 2020. However, it seems they'll be looking forward rather than too far back for their next game, whatever that may be. As our games continue to grow in scale and complexity, they require the full attention of our studio. The studio said in a blog post, with our focus on our current project, we have no plans to revisit Infamous or Sly Cooper right now, and no other studio is currently working on projects related to those franchises either. So yeah, basically, there were some rumors out there about maybe a Sly game happening and an Infamous game. There's rumors about both. I never heard anything about either. This probably seems like why we weren't actually hearing much about these things. Another reason why they probably said this, if everyone's wondered, like, it's weird to come out and say why we're not doing that, confirm a negative. They're going to be doing updates on the UGC stuff for Infamous, the stuff, user generated content stuff that's in Infamous 2. And I think they were worried that when they do that, people are going to assume that something could be happening. So this is just a forewarning that, hey, we're doing that. We are going to keep that stuff up for a while. And then they also mentioned eventually we are going to have to take that stuff down. So it seems like they're just like laying the groundwork for all these other things. And while they're at it, we're not making a sequel to these games right now. And no one else is either. How are we feeling about the future of Infamous and Sly and Sucker Punch overall?
Very upset. I love Sly Cooper. This has been well documented at this point. I really thought that the little Sly cameo in Ratchet and Clank, sorry, spoilers, sure, I guess, was like a little tidbit, a little Easter egg of things to perhaps be coming or down the pipeline. But this kind of is like the final nail in the coffin that I won't be seeing my boy Sly, my fellow trash panda, anytime soon.
I mean, Ghost of Tsushima is such a huge success, a global success, especially popular in Japan. Those are the kinds of things that just kind of say, okay, you're working on Ghost of Tsushima too, right?
Yeah.
I'm more upset that, sorry, John, I'm more upset that Infamous isn't coming back than Sly, perhaps, because I like Sly a lot, but also like Sly feels of an era, and it's hard to bring those characters back in this modern day. Like very few can do that. Like Crash came back for a bit, and that was good-ish. And also Ratchet is probably the exception to the rule, where Ratchet and Clank just seem to be eternal. But I feel like I'm happy with leaving Sly in the past. Infamous, I feel like, has got a lot of mileage in it and a lot to work with that they could like really build something really cool and interesting in the modern day when superheroes stories are more popular than ever. Totally. That whole story, the original one, at least for me, was like really, really fascinating. And I loved the world they were building. The second game was fine. It was fun. It was like, it felt more like a technical showpiece than a kind of an attempt to really push that universe forward. But I feel like they could do a lot with that world, and it could be something that becomes, to put it in business terms, a transmedia kind of opportunity for them. Like they've got the Sony Studio stuff happening, they've got the TV and movie show kind of efforts, and Infamous just feels like a really good entry point into a lot of different places that they should explore a bit more of. There was some really cool tech in that as well. Like I feel like there's so much that they can gain by going back to Infamous. Obviously, it doesn't compare to the success of Tsushima, but I feel like of the two of them, there's potential for them to kind of consider the returning to Infamous over Sly.
Yeah.
But they did a Sly movie that kind of bombed, right?
I don't think it actually came out. I know there was a trailer for a project, but I don't know if it actually materialized into a theatrical release. But out of all of like the Sony stuff, I feel like Infamous does lend itself really, really well to a TV show format out of everything. I think I can sooner see an Infamous show versus a Horizon show, for example.
Easily, yeah. Easily.
Yeah.
And Tam, I think you're right. Like, superhero fervor is higher than it's ever been. And I feel like, if anything, especially with the success of stuff like The Boys and Invincible, people are clamoring for something other than Marvel and DC in terms of superhero stories.
Yeah. I mean, like,
the Sly movie was canceled after Ratchet and Clank flopped.
Yeah. And like anything Infamous, right? Like, you could easily make an animated series, like, and I feel like there's more potential for that. I think once Cyberpunk comes out, and if it succeeds, I think more of that ilk will appear, and Infamous just feels like a thing that you give to a studio, an animation house, and like, do what you want with this, and we'll put it on, I don't know, Crunchyroll and Funimation, which we now own. So it makes a lot of sense to them. I hope they do, because there's so much potential in that universe.
Guardians of the Galaxy and Deus Ex writer joins Bioware to work on the next Mass Effect. Following a story earlier this week, veteran narrative director Mary DeMarle joining Bioware. Mass Effect 4's director, Michael Gamble, confirmed on Monday that she will be working on EA's own big sci-fi series. Oh, hey, I'm really excited to let you know that Mary DeMarle will be joining the Mass Effect team as senior narrative director. You've seen her working Guardians of the Galaxy, Deus Ex, to name a few. She's amazing. I really, really, really love the story in Guardians of the Galaxy. It went from, like, we were doing our game of the year last year, and I was going to put Inscription on, like, I was trying to fight for Inscription, and I was just kept thinking about Guardians of the Galaxy, thinking about it, and it got to the point where during that thing, I'm like, oh, I'm thinking about this because I love it. Yeah. And then I'm like, okay, let's drop Inscription so I can get Guardians of the Galaxy on the top 10. Like, they have, and it is like about those story chops, and it is the kind of thing where I'm like, I think I just want to experience that story again, which rarely ever happens with me in game stories. So, I'm very excited to hear this. This sounds like the right move for something like Mass Effect, right?
Oh,
yeah,
totally.
100%.
It's a very exciting hire, especially because Andromeda was just such a
mess
of a story. Like, but also, I mean,
Andromeda.
Andromeda. If you think about the kind of narrative about Bioware at the moment, especially when it's revisiting its big franchises like Dragon Age and Mass Effect, the kind of narrative is like, oh, it's hemorrhaged talent. Like, all the veterans pretty much are gone. Mike Gamble's been around since the very beginning, so for him to be like project director is quite interesting one.
They've got a next generation that has come up. I've reported about this before. A lot of, especially from Bioware Austin, which is like, the team that puts out all the fires. They a lot of those people have stepped up. It seems like it's in a good place, but you're right. The story, the narrative from outside has been a lot of talent has left. Like, so I feel like this is like replenishing that, in your opinion, Lucy?
Yeah, I think
massively. Yeah,
massively. Mary's
incredible.
Yeah. And also it's like game development is a huge team effort. It's definitely not down to just one person, but the pedigree that she's bringing to the team is very encouraging.
Mm-hmm.
Still no idea the direction that Mass Effect 4 is gonna go.
Right.
With all the meaty game talk we had in the first half of the show, I think Mass Effect might be that meaty game for me to dive back into.
Legendary Edition's great.
Yeah,
it's
great.
Oh yeah,
fantastic.
Legendary Edition is amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know.
brilliant.
Really hopeful, because I was really worried seeing that Square was not pleased with the performance of Guardians, that we wouldn't see another.
They're not pleased with anything.
They're not pleased with anything. Yeah, not even their successes they're pleased with.
Yeah, the game definitely undersell. But that I chalk that up to Square Enix not doing a great job of positioning.
Yeah, the
that
marketing
game.
was not great.
No,
They didn't make it something you had to be excited about, and the marketing. You're right. Just like the early trailers made it look actively bad. I actively disliked what I saw in the trailers.
Yeah, Grubb, I think it was you and Marino, like your positive tweets about that encouraged me to check back into it. So
good. I'm glad.
Now, and yes, I do like games where people kiss. And it's just nice to see that writing talent or those elements of character development could potentially go to an actual Mass Effect game, because that's what Guardians felt like, a Mass Effect light in moments.
I'm way more optimistic about Mass Effect 4, mainly because like Andromeda top to bottom just felt like the result of a bunch of people saying, make a Mass Effect game, don't touch anything that we've done before, like do not come anywhere close to it, and like just keep away from the other stuff. So the fact that this is a direct sequel or follow-up to Mass Effect 3 is going to do a lot of good, just because it was missing. Andromeda was missing so much, like the kind of like carrying your love of characters and the universe forward is so crucial to Mass Effect, that this version of the game where they're like, we're gonna go very, very far away, is like, what are you doing? That's insane. Like, that's not. That's mad.
And now like Andromeda, not just because of that, but in part because of that, was disappointing. And now you have a chance to like reset things, and it could be like a legacy sequel we get in the movies a lot of times, where this beloved thing had a misstep, and now we have a chance to not only just like get back and create something that people like, but almost set things right. That is the vibes I get when they talk about Mass Effect 4. Is like they want to unify what happened in Andromeda, make it better in retrospect, but really continue the story that finished with 3, and set it 100 years in the future, and find a way to make these things all tie together.
I think the best thing that Andromeda offers is context. Like, I feel like that story and the characters did not do much for me. But I feel like a team could come in and pick up the kind of the pieces and be like, we don't have to use this, but we can take some of this and enrich the story that we're trying to tell.
I wouldn't be surprised if Mass Effect 4 is all set in motion by something that happens in Andromeda.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to the Milky Way and take it from there.
I'm 100%.
Well.
I'm 100% convinced that the thing that sets up Mass Effect 4 is going to be the moment in my playthrough where I shoved the vehicle into a dungeon and then platformed around the dungeon. It was like clearly it was designed for people, but I somehow clipped my car into it, and I was platforming using the fucking car, like just doing this around. And they're gonna like somewhere there's gonna be in the start of Mass Effect 4 just a video of my gameplay of doing that. And they're gonna be like, we have to fix this. We have to do this. That's how Mass Effect 4 begins. We need Shepard to undo this madness.
Please don't be Shepard.
It's not going to be. It's no chance. It's not going to be Shepard.
I don't know. There was like an N70s, but I was like, please don't do it.
It'll be a distant cousin named like Herder.
Let me play as a different race. Let me be, a Quarian or a. I was watching the Mass Effect speed run from GDQ the other day, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot you had like backgrounds and stuff, but that didn't really account to anything. I would want the background stuff if you were going to do that. And here is me fan making my own game, but like how they handled Origins in Dragon Age Origins. Yeah. Like if you started as an elf, you would be in a completely different location than if you started as a human. Like, that kind of shit.
Ooh, that's very exciting.
I want to be in the flotilla.
Yeah, I think you're going to be able to play as multiple characters.
I hope so.
Like my hunch is you're going to have multiple characters, and then you'll have the conversational moments as well. Not like, oh yeah, you switch and it just moves to your camera to it, but I feel like it's going to be like taking the dynamic where it's like, we need to go to this part of the galaxy, you need to go to that part of the galaxy, and you're given like two characters, almost like the rider thing. But imagine if the two riders were in two different parts of the world and trying to achieve something that eventually they come together in the final like suicide mission style thing. That's what I would recommend. Like you get a human and you get maybe an Asari or something like that.
Oh man, that sounds great. That sounds great.
Be sick.
Yeah.
I have high hopes for it. Nintendo updated its trademark for Donkey Kong. This one comes from K Rule Country on Twitter. They explained rather than being a routine extension of an existing trademark, this is a new trademark with updated verbiage pertaining specifically to video games, including downloadable programs for portable and electronic consoles. Companies update their trademarks all the time. They add new things to existing trademarks. I mean, for example, like just yesterday, Nintendo updated their trademark for Star Tropics. I'm not including that in the news because they're almost certainly not doing anything with Star Tropics. This is like there's a team at these companies responsible for updating these things, lawyers that just this is what they do. They look for the stuff and they update it. This one, there's a little smoke here. Maybe this is not being a routine one. Maybe there's something there. And recently, and actually over for like the last year or so, we've heard reports from reliable leakers like Zippo who have said that there is a Donkey Kong game in the works at the Mario EPD team in Tokyo. And on June 21st, Zippo wrote, "I've gotten word that Donkey Kong's next adventure from the crew at EPD Tokyo has gone gold. They are currently sitting on the game, though I'm not sure how long it's been finished." Now, it seems one of the most common things in gaming right now is Nintendo finished a game and they're sitting on it. And how many of those are they really sitting on? I know they're definitely sitting on a few. We Metroid Prime, we talked about that recently.
Bayonetta.
Bayonetta is probably not done because it's platinum and they seem like they need all the time in the world. But there's a few others like that. None are coming to mind, but like I think like the Twilight Princess port and Wind Waker, that's almost certainly done and just sitting there and they're waiting to figure out the marketing with how it relates to the wild and stuff. Arms 2, yeah, that's been done since like for years now. They just really are looking for the right time.
Looking for the audience.
Yes, they're looking for an audience. Yeah.
They have a very pervy audience for Arms.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. What's her name? Noodle hair. I am hopeful that a Donkey Kong game from the Mario team, it means. Here's my fan like booking for this. It is a spiritual 3D sequel to Donkey Kong 94. You take Donkey Kong 94 and you play as Mario on this new Donkey Kong game, but it's like it is all the the scaffolding, and Donkey Kong is up there with Pauline or whatever, or Princess Peach, whatever you have to do, and it's just it's a puzzle platformer 3D with Donkey Kong theming. I think that would be fantastic. I bet that's not what we're going to get.
It's not what we're going to get. I'm just going to let you know now, Grubb. It's not going to be that.
Son of a bitch. Yeah, fair enough. Well, I mean, what do you guys, or what do you expect from this?
I'm not a Donkey Kong person.
I want Diddy Kong Racing remake.
Oh,
that's what I want. Okay,
actually, maybe Donkey Konga.
There you go. Yeah. That's Donkey Konga was made by that team, I think. Actually, I think it was. So yeah, maybe.
I think what we'll probably get is another side scroller. Like it makes perfect sense for them to do like another version of Tropical Freeze or a follow up to Tropical Freeze.
It's weird because this is not retro. It's not rare. This is the Mario team that is reportedly working on this. It's like they went from Super Mario Odyssey to and the rumors have said side scrolling 2D Donkey Kong game. Yeah. So it's just a little odd to me. Like I'm trying to figure out exactly what path they were following there, but
I wonder if it's like the interesting thing is like Donkey Kong Country. Those games they're so tied to Rare. I wonder if there's any sort of consideration or like any thought from them to be like, even if it's necessary, like we want a version of Donkey Kong Country that is entirely our own and not like so closely tied to Rare. Yeah. So I wonder if they're like,
I would think it probably wouldn't be Country for that specific reason. And and my hope would be if they are making a 2D side-scrolling Donkey Kong game, that it is a completely different aesthetic and art design than we've seen before. Like I want it to go hard with just being something very stylized, not just boring 3D models on a 2D plane. Just avoid that at all costs.
Donkey Kong World coming soon.
Someone in chat said Donkey Kong Maker.
I was just about to say Donkey Kong Maker.
That's exciting.
Donkey Kong Detective Agency. I mean, hey, these are all
There you go.
Yeah.
very good
Oh
suggestions.
yeah, give me Donkey Kong solving crimes.
There you
I
go.
mean,
Play the shit out of that.
he's already got a tie, so he's smart. So you can just
Mhm.
give him a little hat.
Just give him an alcohol problem, and you can be
yeah.
detective. There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Detective
Just one
Kong.
more thing. What, like, if you, so I'm
You're out of
still,
line, Detective Kong.
Oh, one more time. One more
put that barrel down, sir. If you like, I'm still hung up on the fact that the leaker's name is Zippo,
Yeah.
which I love. If you were going to be an anonymous leaker, or like, what would your names be?
Dan Reichert.
They never suspect a thing, and he only reports on Toad.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
I want to fuck Toad.
Oh,
there
okay.
we go. Wow.
All right.
Thanks, Dan, for that. That
Beautiful.
was,
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks
you
for
didn't have to
popping in.
volunteer
Popping
that
in the Discord.
information, but you did
Yeah.
volunteer it, and now, you
Yeah.
know, fair enough.
Mhm.
I would call myself the Gusher.
Oh,
Okay.
because you're gushing.
I'm gonna go
about-
squeeze the gusher.
Yeah, I'm gonna. The Gusher is leaking again.
Oh god, maybe just like Glizzy, but like
Lizzie.
Glizzy, but like the I is like a 1.
Oh,
There you go.
I like
Very
that.
cool.
I like
Yeah,
Now you
that.
can tell it's a leaker.
Yeah.
Let's see. Communications Worker of America, a union, sent a letter to the FTC to back the Activision Blizzard King acquisition by Microsoft. Yeah, previously we're supporting basically the government and Congress looking closer at this deal. They opened this letter by saying we still fully support anyone who wants to scrutinize the deal here, but they also add in, we now support approval of the transaction before you because Microsoft has entered an agreement with the CWA to ensure the workers of Activision Blizzard have a clear path to collective bargaining. Microsoft's binding commitments will give employees a seat at the table and ensure that the acquisition of Activision Blizzard benefits the company's workers and the broader video game labor market. So Microsoft's like, hey, we see the problem here, like why people might be against this. Let's just cut off that problem, say that we will enter a binding agreement to sit down with anyone who decides to unionize, and problem solved, right? It's the kind of thing where you can never see, but Bobby Kotick would never see the solution to the problem being like working with the unions. And Microsoft saying, if we fully embrace that, we are going to create a stark contrast, and the kind of people that might stand in the way of this deal might be going, well, okay, this is not ideal. The consolidation of the industry has its issues, but we have an ownership that is notorious for mistreating employees, and we have this potential new ownership that is willing to work with the unions. One of these things is better than the other when you net it out, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, where are you guys at with this deal right now? Do you think that this deal is still likely to go through with Microsoft acquiring Activision?
I think so.
Yeah.
Like,
I
I
think
think
there's enough momentum behind it.
Yes.
Yeah, and like I don't think Microsoft would have embarked on an acquisition like this unless they felt like they could complete it. Otherwise, it's a big waste of time, money, and it leaves shareholders and people who have stakes in the company a little more uncertain about what's going on. You don't want to try and fail an acquisition because that puts your ability to identify, paths forward at risk, because people are going to be like, why did you do this if you weren't 100% sure that you could pull this off? So I feel like in my mind, it's pretty much a done deal. It's just untangling all the drama behind it. Microsoft has undoubtedly got the best lawyers in the business to be like, we can do this. And that's why they embark on it.
I was going to say, although compared to the Bethesda or the ZeniMax acquisition, that felt like it went through.
It did go
much
through faster.
Yeah.
quicker.
It
And
did.
so
Yeah.
the thing about this one is it's like it's taking forever. You have to untangle, not only the fact that you're buying another giant corporation and, your thoughts on monopolizing industry like that aside, you're having to deal with the lawsuit and how often things are changing there. So I think it's going to go through, but I think it's going to drag.
Sure.
Oh, someone in chat
Right.
said ZeniMax is privately owned.
It was privately owned.
Yeah,
That
so it
that,
must
that
be
changes things a
easier.
little bit, absolutely. But there's still like some oversight on those deals. But this two public companies, obviously there's a lot more scrutiny, and it's 10 times the size in terms of the price tag. it was always going to draw more attention.
Do you think
but
internal momentum and desire plays a role at all? Like
I think it does.
employees, like
Yeah,
want to be under perhaps better management with Microsoft versus what they've been
right. Because if you're Elizabeth
dealing with.
Warren, like who are you position yourself as caring about? Well, the people who work at this company. And the people working at the company, likely when they get a voice and are able to voice that to someone like Elizabeth Warren, could probably convince her pretty easily that while this is not ideal, consolidation has its issues. One potential owner is much better than the current owner. I think that's something that someone like that would also listen to. So I think that's what this whole thing is about. Is like, I mean, this letter goes on to say the way it works now is a nightmare. Activision doesn't have a path. They barely recognize anything. They just do the legal minimum. And whereas Microsoft is just like, hey, we want to make this as smooth as possible. We are just going to accept unions. And that's going to be music to a lot of people's ears who are going to want to scrutinize this deal. So, and I think the workers will probably want to make that pitch as well. Let's see. Coming to Sega Genesis on Nintendo Switch Online. This is a pretty good lineup of games, I think. Zero Wing, Comic Zone, Mega Man: The Wily Wars, and Target Earth. Zero Wing, famous for being that all your base belong to us. The memes from forever ago.
Yep.
Yeah, you set us up the bomb and all that stuff. Now you can just play that on your Nintendo Switch. It's available right now.
Amazing.
Technology. Fantastic.
I would guess that game does not hold up very well.
It's not a very good game. No,
it wasn't a good game when it released. So I imagine it's not good. Right.
No, but Comic Zone, while a tough game,
Comic Zone's great.
It's a lot of fun. And it's got some really great ideas. That game I think stands up in its visual language really well.
Totally.
All this stuff's available now. So people
Give me
can
the
check
Willy
that
Wars.
out.
I'm down.
I love them, the Willy Wars. Those are the Genesis remasters of the NES Mega Man games. That's pretty good too. Although I think that was exclusive to the Sega channel in the United States or something like that, and now you can only get it through Nintendo Switch Online, so it's kind of keeping that lineage. You have to subscribe to the weird online thing. Weirder than it is now. Diablo Immortal is making $1 million a day. Jen, as our Diablo Immortal correspondent.
How many millions have you put into this game?
Yeah.
Why do you keep giving them money, Jan? What
have
you done?
Have you actually spent money on it, Jan? No judgment.
I have not spent money on this, though. This game loves to tell me that I could spend money at any point during any time I fire up this game. So much so to the point. So much so to the point that I feel like my phone is being hacked. And like, when you visit like a shady website, you know which ones I'm talking about. There are like too many pop-ups that pop up as you're trying to watch a video. Don't give me these looks, everybody at home. You know what I'm talking about.
What are you talking about?
You don't know what you're on about.
And then
I'm sure I don't know.
It just, the whole time I'm playing it, it just feels okay. It feels like a knockoff of its own game, like that. The money aspect. The more I see about Diablo Immortal and the monetization aspects of it, just makes me feel dirty.
Yeah. I realized that I downloaded it on launch day, have not opened it, and then I opened the game and it's like, here's a big old update.
Install. So yep, you're gonna be installing it for a while.
So I don't know.
This isn't surprising. They were always right when they're like, hey, don't you have phones? And everyone got mad. And of course, it was the wrong way to handle that. But we were always going to spend, as a species, we're going to spend a lot of money on a Diablo game on phones. It was always going to happen. Surprise, here it is. The game, I don't even know if it ever actually ended up coming out in China. I know that got delayed. I didn't look into that. But, if it is out in China, that probably helps as well.
Yeah.
More numbers. Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak has already shipped 2 million copies in its first week.
Nice.
While Rise broke 10 million copies. This comes from Chris Scullion at VGC. Real quick, he basically just pointed out like that game is in its first week. They already got 2 million copies out there. Now shipped, of course, means that they are shipping to stores, but they do that because based on like how excited people are. That is a big number for that game already, though. For an expansion.
Is it like end game content as well?
Yes, it is. You need to. I think you need to beat that game to get this stuff. Is my understanding, like 40 hours or something like that to get to this content.
I think you need a level 10 hunter to get in on it. So
wait, hang on. That conversion rate there. If Rise is 10 million, you've got like a 1 in 5 people playing.
That's
the suggestion. Yeah.
Massive.
Grubb, is that
now?
Is that
Yeah,
PC
go ahead.
and Switch or just Switch?
I believe that is PC. No, I think it's PC and Switch. Yes.
Okay.
Because
Still,
they lined that up. They did not do the world thing, but now this is a series that has a long history of putting out updates for its game. Like they had the G versions. I'm not like super familiar with how it worked, but like in Japan they would put out like Tri or G or whatever it was, and that would be the G unit, and that would be the updated version of the previous game. They would just sell that again, and people would come up and they'd buy it again. So people who are fans of Monster Hunter are used to this, and it's like now it's DLC. It sort of maybe lubricates those wheels a little bit to encourage people to get into it even more. So it seems like
Pull
it's
those
working.
eyebrows, Jan.
Lubricated video games. Speaking of lubrication, Lollipop Chainsaw Remake has been announced for 2023. In May, it was announced that Yasuda would be leaving Kadokawa. This is one of the people who was a producer on Lollipop Chainsaw, and would be establishing a new company called Dragami Games. And now Yasuda has confirmed that a Lollipop Chainsaw remake is one of the company's first projects. Anyone a big fan of this while I deal with this kid?
That game is surprisingly good.
Is it now?
Like it's just a
Lollipop
fun
Chainsaw?
game. Yeah, it was a fun game back in the day. I don't remember it being amazing, but I remember having a good time. Isn't it James Gunn?
It's a James Gunn written.
That's a James
Gunn
Gunn
yeah.
joint. Yeah. It was like it had an energy to it that was fun. It was like it was a bit self-aware, which was nice, and it like it was also mildly horny, which is
I mean, there was an achievement I remember for looking up her skirt.
Yeah, that was there's elements of it that probably haven't aged very well that I'm interested to see what they do with in this day and age. But I remember having a pretty good time with it and just thinking, this is fun. Yeah. I'm glad I'm playing this.
I had fun. Oh wait, someone said Gunn and Suda are not working on it, they're changing the soundtrack.
Oh, the soundtrack's pretty important.
Wait, hang on, Jeff Bacala here just casually posting in a little podcast that he did with James Gunn. He's posted, that's a lovely picture of you and James Gunn.
I'm not listening to this, Jeff Bacala.
He's on the 404.
he had that ready to go. He just
he was waiting.
Got that saved to his
That's
notes,
a lovely
ready to go.
Picture,
no one say Danny DeVito because then he'll pop in that interview you did with DeVito.
He says it's in the chamber, baby.
How long is this? How long is this podcast?
Podcast.
If you click play on the podcast, it doesn't work.
Oh, half an hour. There
In your face, Bacalar.
Grow up. Classic CNET.
Let's in a statement posted to Twitter, Yasuda said, unfortunately, various factors resulted in things making it so that fans can no longer easily play Lollipop Chainsaw, and it has been some time since players have not been able to access the game on current consoles, so that's why they're looking to fix that.
I'm going to the Giant Bomb Twitter account, and I'm just going to tweet that picture of Jeff Bacala and James Gunn.
Please, there you go. That's
with zero context. Just no
and then just reply to it with the one with him and Danny DeVito, and then now you covered your bases. All right, Rockstar scrapped plans for a GTA 4 and Red Dead Redemption remaster. This is what this is claimed, and this comes from Chris Scullion at VGC. Rockstar insider Tez2, who's accurately leaked information about the company's games.
Another great leaker name.
Yes, it should be just Tez, but the Z is a 2. Like that's the way it should be. But Tez2, they've accurately leaked information about GTA Online content in the past. They claim that both games were in the works, but are no longer going concerns. And then they speculated, and I think this is fair speculation, that the cool response to the GTA, the GTA 3 like series remasters, caused them to give up on GTA 4 and Red Dead Redemption 1. Red Dead Redemption 1 is kind of famous for its spaghetti code, where it's just a mess and it's really hard to put on other stuff, which is why we haven't seen it ported too much.
Never put on PC.
Yeah, right, exactly. Never got a PC version. So you would think like eventually that just makes sense. So my guess here is like they probably would have required a certain amount of work that the GTA trilogy probably required that amount of work from the beginning, but they were like, oh, we're actually not going to do that. We're going to do this amount of work. Like, okay, great. We'll put it out. Everyone will be happy. No one was happy. And then they're like, oh, had we known it was going to be this amount of work from the beginning, we wouldn't have done this, as evidenced by GTA 4 and Red Dead Redemption 1. That's the sense I get from this. I mean, are these games that I would kind of be excited to go back to GTA 4 for sure.
Yeah.
But
I would go to Red Dead in a heartbeat. Like Red Dead Redemption is one of the a formative game for me, I think. The first Red Dead. Like, I have a Red Dead Redemption 2 mouse mat right now. And actually, while we're talking about games that we don't have, like, we've got a little bit of downtime, part of me is going, what if I just played Red Dead 2 again? But I hoped that they were going to do the remake. I was really, really hoping that they would do the remake, especially in Red Dead 2, because they remade a lot of, obviously it's part of the same map, but like the attention to detail that went into Armadillo and all of the stuff from Red Dead 1, I was like, oh, maybe. But then they kind of were like, oh no, there was a plague here and no one's around, which would have been, you know, if I could have seen Herbert Moon or whatever again.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Like, I was just gonna say, and so it definitely sucks that if it is true that the trilogy reception and how that all kind of came together has kind of stopped this, because I don't know, it's a game that's very close to my heart.
Is it spaghetti code because it's a spaghetti western?
Yeah, listen, Jan, we all knew where you were going. All right, even before you said a word, we saw your face, we knew what you were gonna say. All right, I hope you're proud of yourself.
I am.
Let's see. Bungie is reportedly making a Destiny game for mobile with China's NetEase. Tom Ivan of VGC with this one. The game post claims to have spotted an unannounced FPS mobile game developed in cooperation with Bungie, listed on the LinkedIn profile of a NetEase game artist. And citing a source said to be familiar with NetEase's development plans, the site claims the studio has been working on a new Destiny game for well over 2 years. It's also suggested that the game is a new title rather than a mobile version of Destiny 2. This comes obviously on the heels of, like, well before Sony and PlayStation acquired Bungie. Bungie made a deal with NetEase where it invested $100 million into Bungie.
What company was that?
Which one? Which one did I say incorrectly?
No. What, the last one you just said. The Bungie and who?
NetEase. Bungie and
sorry.
You didn't see that, Jeff. You didn't see that coming.
How did you not see
that?
No, honestly, here's the. You could do that to me every day for the rest of your life, I think. So you guys just get ready, spool them up, and just.
I was gonna do it. I was gonna do it. Then I looked at Jan, and Jan was like shaking his head, and I knew, like,
in his eye.
I knew he was gonna do it. And I was like, I'm just gonna sit back and let this one happen.
That's what I deserve.
I'm sorry, Grubb. I'm sorry.
No, fair enough. NetEase. Listen, NetEase. They're making
Grubb. I need you to do me a favor. You need to look over your right shoulder. I love that.
Talking a little bit.
I love that your child just solid snakes away just behind you.
I had no idea. Okay. Yeah. I mean, Destiny for mobile, is that something anyone has much interest in? Like, I think I'm like kind of glad that it's something new, but I think that also might mean it might be seriously more forgettable. But if they've been working on it for 2 years, what do we expect?
NetEase on Diablo Immortal as well, so I wonder if the old microtransaction thing will have been sorted out by then, because
improved
I talked about this. Yeah, I talked about this on Friends Per Second last week with the gang. But it's like Activision owns King. Like, it's Activision Blizzard King. So I do not understand where the microtransaction part of Diablo Immortal really came from, because they already have a business that has a model that is not as egregious as whatever it is they put into Diablo Immortal. Maybe that is from the NetEase side. I don't know. Obviously, Destiny is now unshackled from Activision. But I don't know. Like, I'm interested in it. I will likely play it a bit, but you kind of, I don't know. I'm kind of coming into it with a little bit more of a, is it going to be Diablo Immortal 2.0 microtransaction style?
The Destiny gameplay loop is perfect for mobile.
100%.
Like, it is absolutely perfect. I am very, very surprised that it's taken them this long to kind of, like, I would have bet it would have been out by now. Like, and it makes perfect sense for them to kind of, like, create a loop around it. I feel like that I would be surprised if it is that far away from the experience that we have currently. Like, I think it's still going to be a first-person shooter. Like, it's going to have that same kind of loop where you dailies, and I'm like, because we had a friend around, and he was playing Destiny via remote play on a, I think it was like a
wow,
what do you call it?
He's playing it on his phone, wasn't he?
Yeah, on a phone using, I think it was a Razer Kishi or something like that. Yeah. But, like, I was like, how does that game not exist natively on mobile. Like
Totally.
it seems like perfect for it. But I imagine it will be scaled down to a degree somewhat. But I think that it will be microtransactioned up, but not to the egregious nature that perhaps Diablo is. I feel like they will have some like boosts and stuff like that. I imagine the classic stuff, but for me, the interesting part of it is going to be how does it hook back into Destiny proper? It has to, surely. Like even if it is a different experience, it's got to hook back into Destiny proper. To one of the huge benefits of having a mobile game like that for a spin-off is like creating a pipeline between one and another. So I don't doubt that there will be some sort of hooks into the bigger game, and there might even be like some do your dailies in this game, and it will take care of them on the main game.
100%.
Yeah,
I saw
it's definitely the kind of thing that can. Yeah, go ahead, Jan.
I saw a group of rogue teenagers at a mall recently playing Call of Duty Mobile on their phones with each other and just like coordinating strikes and flanking people all at the food court. So 100% this on mobile, especially with how fucking insane Fortnite has become, and that is like the preferred platform for some people. And the precedent's already been set. People are more than fine to spend money on their phones.
And I think it makes sense. Like, yeah, this is not going to be Destiny 2, but I think in the same way, Diablo Immortal and Call of Duty Mobile aren't like just straight ports. It's probably going to use a lot of the same content. It's going to be very familiar, but it's just going to be mobilized up, and it's going to you probably make a lot of money. Sony patent suggests PS3 era peripheral compatibility could come to PS5. Jordan Miller at VGC helped out with this one. Sony patent suggests the PS3 era peripheral compatibility is potentially on the way. What makes the patent even more interesting is that the peripherals mainly appear to be all from the PS3 era, which could suggest that this is part of Sony's reported effort to emulate that system specifically, which has been relegated to streaming only as part of Sony's recent PlayStation Plus rebrand. Sony is also related to this, hiring an engineer for PlayStation Studios to basically be a classics engineer. Let's see, this is from the LinkedIn. Our software development engineer position works on the tools and technology team at PlayStation Studios to support the newly relaunched classics for PS4 and PS5. Classic games run via emulation of legacy PlayStation platforms. As a classics engineer, you would work closely with a group of other engineers, producers, and QA teams to fix bugs and add new features and develop new emulators. This is on top of what I've heard in the past that they are looking into doing a PS3 emulator for PS5, which seems like something they probably will just want to have done eventually, right? Eventually, they're going to get to a point where, yeah, we could keep doing this from the cloud, but in the future, for preservation and really to sell these games again down the line, it might just make sense to be able to emulate them.
Yeah,
it's solved on PC for the most part, not perfectly, but this is Sony, so they could do a better job of solving those problems, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But are you going to want to be using a DualShock 3? Like, I don't want to be using that. I mean...
But it's like, there's like other, like, the PlayStation Eye and stuff like that.
Move.
Like maybe... Yeah,
well, that worked with PS4, right?
Right, yeah. Like, exactly. So I'm like, it might just be like, hey, any game that might require something like that,
Rock
maybe
Band.
we can emulate them through the stuff that already works with PS5. Maybe there's like a software layer to translate that. Like if you're expecting to see a PlayStation Eye, well, we have another camera that already works with PlayStation 5, so we could just like pretend this is an eye or something like that. Maybe that's what they're doing here. That seems like a possibility.
Although if this is the Guitar Hero Rock Band resurgence, like actually,
there you go.
I know they tried it a couple of years ago, did not work out, but I'm here for it.
I could see it coming, honestly. I feel like the fervor is there.
Beat Saber is the closest I can get to it right now.
Mm.
And I tell you that Lady Gaga pack was the best, however many dollars I've spent all year.
All right, best Lady Gaga song, Lucy. What is it? What is it?
It is Telephone.
Telephone.
It is absolutely Telephone.
Yeah.
My kids really like the theme song she sung for Top Gun Maverick. They haven't seen Top Gun Maverick, but it came on my offline playlist on YouTube Music, and my daughter in the back seat. We were on our way to the school to go unload stuff from my wife's classroom. And my daughter's like, "Could you play that again?" And then she had me repeat it the entire drive all the way there. So we probably listened to it like 10 times.
A taste.
Yes, she knows what's what. Let's see from okay. This one is a fun one. Polium 1 Web3 gaming NFT console. That's an exciting phrase, right? We are introducing the Polium 1, a multi-chain console for Web3 gaming hashtag Web3 on console. Here are the specs they've given so far that they're just like talking about. They say the words 4K Ultra HD, fingerprint scanner, probably to keep all your NFTs on lock, ray tracing, and up to 120 frames per second. This thing is about the size of a like a Roku or something. The idea that it's going to have ray tracing is laughable. It's a complete joke.
I am very excited to watch a piece of hardware fail.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this feels like a worse Ouya, right?
The fuck is giving them their fucking fingerprints?
I hope
Jesus
that I'm counting down until Soldier Boy adds his endorsement to this.
I mean, Soldier Boy, like that would at least be some air of legitimacy. He's put out consoles before.
Yeah.
This thing's probably never even going to ship.
Yeah, this is a scam, and if you get got by this, you probably deserved it.
You do deserve it if it happens
yeah,
to you.
you kind of do.
The other thing that happened here is their logo for the Polium. It is a like a hexagon, and there's a P inside of it that like comes in. It's the GameCube logo turned on
I've
its
managed
side.
not to look at it.
It's the GameCube logo turned on, and they're like, well, this is a very original design. And people point out it's like not just the GameCube logo. Other companies have done the P version of it before. It's just straight up.
Oh yeah, that's 100% the GameCube logo. That is 1,000,000% the GameCube logo. Yeah.
My
And here's their
God.
response: we did not copy the Nintendo GameCube logo. There are multiple companies that are using a similar logo. That's not a defense, but we will illustrate. We will illustrate a new logo that is original. So that's always a good sign when you're like the first follow up to your big console announcement is we did not steal that thing that we stole.
I love the second point. The console will have games and exclusive games.
Oh, okay.
We are currently in talks with different Web3 game developers, and we'll make some announcements soon. We know that a console can't be successful without games. Yeah, homie.
No shit, Sherlock.
Holy shit.
Homie. It's always good when you also have to say that part out loud. But when you add Web3 game developers, okay, there's gonna be some HTML5 Pokemon ripoffs.
And this is point 3 is amazing.
We have experience in hardware and software. The console will be built, and we will execute on the roadmap. This space bashes builders who are building for Web3 to help it expand. We are also building the console for ourselves and will not stop. So that's
the console will be built.
The console
Cool.
will be built.
Build it. You know what? If you have to say we will build this, you probably aren't going to build it.
If we build it, no one will
Lags
come.
going up.
It's Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo have never announced a console and then said we will build this.
Yeah,
We'll
listen,
definitely build
we
it.
didn't steal the logo, and we will build this.
We are going to make this because most people just assume they're going to do it. But if you have to assure people that you're going to do it, you're not doing it. Trust us.
Speaking of, did the Intellivision Amico come out?
No, fuck no. The most recent thing that happened with that is they've lost the trademark for the television Amico. That happened last week. So I had it somewhere, but someone on Reddit did a really great breakdown of like they're out of funding, they are not giving money back. Many of their founders have left. They are raising the price. The games that were going to be exclusive aren't going to be exclusive anymore, and now they've lost the trademark. So there's like a whole list of stuff that is going wrong. The wheels have fallen off. The Amico's probably never coming out.
Tommy Tallarico is just his head is spinning right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, Tommy Tallarico doesn't give a shit. All right, let's. This I know we were having fun here. I just saw this. Gene Park, a buddy, a friend. He writes for the Washington Post. He like helped launch Launcher, their game coverage there. He has cancer. He announced it just today. Give the guy some love. If you get a chance, it's just Gene Park on Twitter. I do love Gene, and I think you should too. So just let him know. Give him good vibes, and let him know you support him.
Yeah.
He's a good dude. He's got a great head on his shoulders, and I do love him. So shout out to you, Gene.
Yeah, Gene's one of those dudes, as like, an Asian American, just seeing him in the game, thinking like, oh, maybe I could do that too. So hope Gene gets the help that Gene needs.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we got your back, Gene, whatever you need. Absolutely. That does it for the news though. I got nothing else.
Yeah, but you know what I got, Mr. Grubb? I got a couple of emails that I would like to read to the folks here after this break. Here's a puzzle for you. What would you do if your business had to hire great people fast? Here's a hint and also the answer. You need Indeed. Indeed is the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. How convenient is that? You can, instead of spending hours on multiple different job sites looking for candidates with the right skills, Indeed is a powerful hiring partner that can help you do it all. You can find great talent faster through time-saving tools like Indeed Instant Match, assessments, and virtual interviews. Wait, virtual interviews. With Instant Match, over 80% of employers get quality candidates whose resume on Indeed matches their job description the moment they sponsor a job, according to Indeed Data US. One of the fantastic things about Indeed is that it makes hiring all in one place so easy, because when you sponsor an Indeed post, you're 4.5 times more likely to get a hire, according to Indeed data worldwide. Even better, Indeed's the only job site where you only pay for applications that meet your must-have requirements. Indeed is an unbelievable hiring partner, delivering 4 times more hires than all the job sites combined, according to Talent Nest 2019. Join more than 3 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. And Indeed's doing something no other job site has done. Now with Indeed, businesses only pay for quality applications matching the sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/bomb to start hiring now. Just go to Indeed.com/bomb. Indeed.com/bomb. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. You know, there's a lot of moving bits and pieces when it comes to a wedding, but one of those moving pieces is you looking super stylish. Whether you're the groom or in the wedding party or a guest, everyone wants to look their best for a wedding. And I want you to look your best because you deserve it, buddy. With a custom fitted suit from Indochino, you'll look great. You'll feel confident. Enjoy big day without fussing over your clothes. You can choose every detail on this suit. Your shirt, a dinner jacket. I don't even know what a dinner jacket is, but you can choose every little detail on it at more affordable prices that may surprise you for fully custom pieces. I got a pair of chinos from Indochino, and let me tell you, these are a pair of chinos because they are custom fit to my own measurements. I look like $1 million without spending $1 million. Look at these. I wish I could show you how these are making my calves look, but my calves have never been more appealing in any other pair of pants. All I had to do was measure myself at home, upload that to the website, and then bing, bang, boom, my pants were made and eventually sent my way. And I look great in them. The best part of Indochino is, on top of offering completely custom fitted suits, they also offer casual wear, like the chinos I picked up, and shirts. You can get a whole wardrobe customized to your style and taste without spending a fortune. And let me tell you, I can attest to this, folks. You will 100% look better in clothing that is made to your body type. No more wearing a shirt that's too baggy or a shirt that you thought was a crop top. You can get the shirts and pants and suits fitted to you. If you got the big day coming up, getting the perfect look is no big deal with Indochino. Get $50 off any purchase of $399 or more by using code BOMB at Indochino.com. That's $50 off a purchase of $399 or more at Indochino.com. Promo code BOMB. So what I'm hearing is that we're going to just have to take a group road trip where I teach both Lucy and Tam how to drive.
Lucy was pretty quiet when you brought this up. Now, she could have been doing commerce. I don't know.
Oh, I was arranging to put my treadmill. No, I am. So I have my friend Andy who is going to teach me to drive. But you mentioned intersections. I don't know what that is. I don't know what an intersection is.
Oh, fantastic.
I genuinely have no idea about learning to drive.
That's all it is. Yeah, it's where the two roads meet, like where you see a traffic light, that's an intersection. So, yes.
Yo, we'll just go to Daly City. It is super safe to drive in Daly City. It's just nothing but old Filipino people crossing the street. I'll just
That's
wave
the thing,
at them.
because around here, I hate the hills. Like when I go down it on a bus, terrifying. Don't care for it.
I remember this one time, my partner and I were driving over a hill, and then as we went over the crest, I jokingly said, "Wow, we're falling!" And then she like braced herself like we were actually gonna fall off a cliff. It's hilarious. I give her shit for it all the time. You know what else happens all the time is, well, this is where I would play the emails theme, but I don't have that here, so I'll just do it. Here are some emails for us. Here are some emails for the crew. Thank you.
Nailed it.
Bombcast@giantbomb.com is the email address to send your emails to. You can send a variety of stuff. They could be game related. It could be regionally stuff located and whatnot. But we got Andrew. Andrew writes in and asks, SF crew, I have a very limited work engagement in San Fran. First of all, don't call it San Fran.
Call it San Fran. It makes me so mad.
They get mad about it. I don't know why.
I get so worked up about it. Engagement in SF later this summer, Sunday to Wednesday, and would love to know what you recommend to grab for lunch for Grubb in downtown Moscone Center area for a first-time visitor. So far, I'm dedicated to getting in and out on the way to the airport, and I've been looking at State Bird for dinner one night. Overrated? It seems interesting and attainable. Thank you and best, Andrew.
I have the answer.
Okay.
You go to Square Pie, guys.
Oh, yes. Go to Square Pie, guys.
You go to
Crystal
Square
Pizza?
Pie, guys.
Yes.
It's fantastic. And it's a Square
Crystal
Pizza.
Pizza.
Is it specifically San Francisco or is it the Bay Area?
Please call it Frisco. They prefer if you call it Frisco.
Frisco.
Downtown
SF.
Frisco, baby.
Oh, my God.
Is it like?
I think they said like around the Moscone area, so kind of like near the office too, I guess.
Okay.
I would recommend going to Deli Board. It is like very fat sandwiches. They are a little bit hefty in terms of price, but you are getting your money's worth because of how much meat they throw on that bad boy. Also, go to State Bird. State Bird is one of those times where I've eaten somewhere and I was actively upset the whole time because everything was so good. And I knew it was going to be.
I wasn't sure where that was going.
Yeah.
What's the burger place we usually go to?
Super Duper.
Oh,
Super Duper is decent.
Yeah, go to Super Duper over In-N-Out. I'm more of a Super Duper guy myself over In-N-Out, actually.
Yeah, same.
I have an emergency. I think I need to interrupt the podcast. The Atari speaker hat is on clearance at Best Buy for $65.
65?
Yeah, they're normally like 200. If you sync them up, you can all play the same music from your hats, and you could be the speaker hat gang. I'm buying one. I'm just putting it out there. Mine broke. I had one. Mine broke. It stopped working after too much use. So I'm just saying, if you guys all bought one too, I wouldn't hate it.
I don't know, man.
Wait, I'm looking at the reviews.
You don't need to do that.
Wait, no, there's a 5. There are only 2 reviews, and they're both 5 stars. So 5 stars. Speakers on the rim of the hat is the subject line in the review, and then the actual review itself is, "Lol, I thought this thing was pretty cool with the speakers right on the hat."
They're not wrong.
What's the quality of the audio?
Dad, this is so crucial to me because I can't have my ears covered because the kids are constantly hurting themselves. So I need to hear them where they are to hurt themselves. I'm like, okay. And if I just have the speakers right there on the brim of the hat, it's genius. It works out great. So I'm buying a new one right now.
There's been so much commerce on this episode, by the way.
Yes, we're doing a lot of business today. Yeah.
If you can make it to outside of San Francisco and go to the Bay Area, Hot Boys is pretty good. World famous Hot Boys is good. There's also a taqueria in Oakland, I believe, called Maya, which is very, very, very good. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
But if you're downtown Square Pie, for sure.
Yes.
It is so good.
I think that might be the best pizza joint around that area. I'm confident saying that.
Yeah.
If you are in the Moscone area, you're going to be a little bit further away from all the good taquerias, but definitely try and get yourself an SF burrito because it hits different.
Yeah.
It really does.
All right. We got an email that I've actually been sitting on for a while now. Michael from Long Island addresses this to the new members. Well, new members of the team, pretty much being Tam, Lucy, Grubb. We know stuff about Dan already. But Michael from Long Island writes, "Hello, Giant Bomb 2022 starting lineup. Since we have a new crew and we are entering a new era of Giant Bomb, I figure it'd be a good time to ask some introductory questions about for anyone who doesn't know who you guys and gals that well. So, What was the first game you remember playing? We'll go Grubb, Tam, Lucy.
Yeah, so I definitely played games on the Intellivision and the actually it was the ColecoVision, and it had the Atari hookup, and I played some Atari games on that. I vaguely remember. I think I remember Barnstormer, the one where you're playing, and a few others. But really, my first actual memory of sitting down, playing a game, having the controller is my 5th birthday. My parents and my brothers did a over the rainbow game where I had to like go around the house and what's it called when you find all the clues to find the next thing, a scavenger hunt. Yes, and then eventually I got to the end of the rainbow, and there was an NES in the bathtub, and it was mine for my birthday, and we played Super Mario Brothers all that night. That was very cool. And then I went to bed, and my older brother stayed up playing it the rest of the night. But yeah, Super Mario Brothers is the real first game that I played a lot of.
I think mine, I had similar where I looked at a bunch of games before I actually played them. I think the first game that I had hands on and I was actively playing was Street Fighter 2, which was pretty much Street Fighter 2, Super Nintendo games were like, it was Street Fighter 2 and Super Mario, one of the Mario games, probably World, honestly. But those are the games that I was like, oh shit, this is legit. And then Super Metroid was the game where I was like, oh my god, I have to play video games. This is wild.
Lucy?
Sorry, I'm just taken aback because we have an actual legend in the chat
Yeah,
right now.
Wario 64.
We got
Yeah.
Wario 64 in the chat. and I'm
Oh,
just
Warrior, I just clicked your link and I'm like, should I buy this? And like,
like, this is a sign.
Yeah, I'm like,
Wario, tell him yes.
I want to, yeah, I mean, Warrior's going to say yes because he gets ad money out of this. But
He gets the commission.
I mean,
rate.
that's a good reason for me to, I'll support
Right,
Wario
yeah,
till
pay
the
the
day I
man.
die.
I feel like we
Yeah.
need to give Wario a special color in the chat just because.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
he's a
Yeah,
celebrity.
yeah, we should do that.
This is
We should
beyond a
do that.
VIP. Like,
Yeah.
whoa.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But with mine, I remember watching my dad play Quake when I was a kid. But then the first game that he and I played together really was Tomb Raider 3.
Oh.
Getting that fucking quad bike key. And so, but I remember being there because my like hand-eye coordination was not necessarily the best as a child. You could argue it's not great now. I drop things all the time, but that was when I kind of really remembered playing games for the first time. But the gateway drug game, so to speak, was when Tom and Jack, my friends, their dad was actually called Jerry, so you know you've got Tom and Jerry there. Played The Sims for the first time in 2000, and that was the game that made me like, because I didn't live with my dad as a kid, like the old divorced parents thing, and so like I would go around to dad's and he'd be like, okay, well cool, we'll play some games together. But the game that made me want to get my own stuff was The Sims.
Okay.
Hot Sim Summer, baby.
Hot Sim Summer. No one asked me, but X-Men for the Genesis, because my uncle left me to go talk to a lady friend.
Oh my god. I'm so glad you carried on there. Because just like my uncle left me and I was like, oh my god.
And then I was very confused and the level was hard. I was like, I didn't know what to do. Grubb, you were holding your finger to ask a question, perhaps.
Yes. Now, the level was hard. You didn't know what to do. Was the answer to hit the reset button on the game? Was it that X-Men game?
I don't remember. It was like a 2D side scroller, but it wasn't like a beat 'em up. It was like a platformer.
Okay.
Yeah, there's one of them. I can't remember exactly. There's one where like there's a computer in the game that's like the enemy that you're fighting, and they're like, you need to like restart the computer, and like that's all the game tells you. And the key is you have to go hit the reset button on the actual Genesis system, and that makes the level continue.
It might have been that one. I was playing as Beast. 2 more questions from Michael.
Wait, before we move on,
Yes.
I went to Amazon and I typed in Bluetooth hat. And I think I
Listen,
found
We don't need to
a
blow up
version
Atari spot here.
of that hat that is $20, but it looks like the exact same hat.
What's the name of the company that makes that one? Because there's like I
This
think
one's
they did
called
have
EDL.
okay, because it's like AudioWare or something is the name of the company. I'm
Yeah.
sure that there are a million versions of this thing. I
And
think
this
I
one's got a bunch of reviews.
Does it
that
say
are-
Atari on it? And we don't
It
care.
Yeah, I
doesn't.
don't think
It's just
so.
grey. It's just plain grey hat.
that sounds pretty embarrassing. I would never wear something like that.
If you look at the 4th picture, it is the most photoshopped hat on the most photoshopped game in the
Yeah,
world.
woman.
I mean,
Yeah, and man, the one
How can
of
you
the
trust
woman
that?
Oh,
with her
that's
hands
bad.
in the air is even worse because it looks like
Oh my
it's
god.
just like it's hilariously bad.
I need.
The
Find
thing
my
is, though,
broken
Tam, if you bought that, you know that I think you should leave sketch where it's like they're talking about crime, and then they're like, he's wearing the fucking hat. That would be good.
That's, yes, exactly.
God,
They said I was the only one who could ever pull it off.
It's got the flaps at the back. You can't ask me that.
please, 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 for the next season of I Think You Should Leave, have a speaker hat in it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're giving you the content here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm just putting that on screen right now for the folks at home. Wow, look at that. I'm assuming it's a father-son photo. It looks like
my
a
gosh.
knockoff Will Ferrell and Rob Dyrdek from
Yes, it
Like,
This is
Justin
impressive.
Bieber.
perhaps. Jesus. Okay, anyway, moving on. Where are the emails go? What was the first game that made you realize you truly love games?
I already said mine, Super Metroid.
Yeah, mine's Super Mario
I said
Brothers.
mine too.
Well,
The
there you
Sims.
go. Michael, you got to write diversified questions. And
Link's Awakening is actually the one that really made me fall in love with, though. I got my told the story. I was in 6th grade or 5th grade, and I had a Game Boy. And a kid came up and handed me the game out of nowhere, and I was like, I'm in 5th grade. I'm gonna take this from you. And he's like, yeah, take it. And so I took it and I played it, and then I was playing it at school like a week later. And the teacher's assistant came out like, "Oh, I had that game until someone stole it." And I'm like, "Oh," I was like, "Cool story. That's very
Oh my
interesting."
god.
That's
You're an
very interesting.
accessory
I love
after
it.
the fact.
Yeah. And she's like, "Oh," and I think I explained. I must have explained what happened because she never ever brought up the fact that I was playing her stolen copy of it, and it took me years to realize what had happened there. Where I was like, "Oh, the kid stole it from her and gave it to me," but I fell in love with it. It's like it was easily like the game that made me realize, oh, games could be so much. And you're problem solving and all these cool things. And so I'm grateful that she didn't hey, try to take it back away from me, because it took me a long time to actually figure that game out as well. So
Should
yeah.
post it back.
Yeah, you should
Yeah, I
find.
know. I'm like,
You should
I'm trying to,
track that teacher down and be like, I figured out what happened. Here
I've
is your-
tried a little bit. Yes. I'm like, I would love
He
to
was
actually, but it was like a
Billy
teacher's
from that
assistant.
grade.
It's a little bit more difficult. Yeah. Like she wrote a big long message in my yearbook. I remember that at the end of the year, and she liked
This
me,
is
clearly.
you should. I would dig into this and try and find.
I will
This
try to
this
make
is
it happen.
This is potential content. Okay,
Yes, you're right. Absolutely. I would love to just sit down and talk with her about it. That would be great.
Yeah.
all right, and the last question from Michael: what is your favorite game of all time? I know this is a very broad question.
Yeah, I'll go with Eco. I like Breath of the Wild, but everyone would say that Eco is a game where it's like Minecraft. There's a lot of different systems. It's actually an educational game that this company made to teach kids about like the effects that you can have on the environment. And so it models pollution, and it models like if you walk over like a certain grassland, it'll create a trail there of where people walk. And if you cut down too many trees, the trees will stop replenishing. But there's a meteor that's coming to destroy your server in about 30 real world days. And you have to get everyone on the server to work together with different specializations to create the things to take out the meteors. And you start from nothing. You're making basic tools. You're making wheelbarrows, and someone can own the wheelbarrows.
Was
and they
that
can either
wheelbarrow?
wheelbarrow, wheelbarrow, right?
This is I'm stealing this bit from Kind of Funny.
Yeah,
Wheelbarrow.
right, that's right. The wheelbarrow. But
First, also, I thought you meant eco, as in
I
the
thought you meant
holding
eco.
hands
Team
game.
Eco
know.
game.
I know that happens.
And I
every
was
time.
like,
I was like, wow,
I don't
what is he
remember
talking about?
this.
I don't remember any of
What
this.
game
shit.
are you
No, ECO. It's on Steam. It's fantastic. It's really good. I eventually caused an economic collapse in our game because I created the economy and I tried to change us from one currency to the other. And in that process, like people were getting pretty mad. Like, no, we made a lot of your old currency. I don't want you to change it. I'm like, okay, I flooded the market with my currency that I had full control of, so made it completely worthless. I'm like, we're moving to this new currency. So it's like,
box, okay?
yeah, it's like, but it's like this is all this stuff is possible in this game. So yeah, I totally fell in love with it. And I've done 2 full playthroughs before, and it's really affecting to me.
Tam, Lucy, favorite game of all time?
Go on, Tam.
Mine's Bloodborne. Pretty easily, I think.
Mm.
It does kind of go like I depending on when you ask me, I'll either say Bloodborne or Metal Gear Solid, but I think it's one of those 2 games. Currently, I think more consistently, I think Bloodborne. But I just love Bloodborne. I've talked at length about why I love Bloodborne, so you can just Google my name and Bloodborne, and you'll probably find some explanation of why I like Bloodborne. But yeah, it's a game that I keep coming back to. I feel like it never loses its magic. Each new playthrough, you realize why the game is so good. Similar for Metal Gear Solid, I guess. But yeah, it's a game that I could play endlessly.
Again, depending on the day, it would be Okami or Mass Effect 2. Yeah, Okami was one of those games that I just kind of immediately fell in love with and have replayed multiple times over the years. I still listen to the soundtrack. Thank you to the Capcom sound team for putting that on Spotify.
They did that recently, right? Where they added all that stuff recently.
Yeah,
Okami's been there for a couple years for some reason, but I always used to listen to it on YouTube anyway. But then they finally put it on. But Mass Effect 2 is one of those games that's just a perfect sequel in so many ways, and I have just so many fond memories of playing it until like 2 a.m. every night, and just like I don't think I've ever devoured a story as much or been like swept along as much with a piece of media as much as I did when I played Mass Effect 2 for the first time. But then I played a lot of The Sims and Overwatch, so I'm a fickle bitch. Basically, just depends on the day.
Could I put that as the episode title? We'll have to see.
Not on YouTube.
I'm a fickle bitch.
At least we should put on a shirt. Wes from Baltimore writes, "Hello there. I've been vegetarian for a number of years now. I do not miss eating meat, but I always used to love a good hot dog. I bring this up because IKEA has the best vegetarian hot dogs. It's like $150 and comes with spicy mustard, a red kraut thing, and crispy onions. You can even buy frozen ones to take home. I get at least 3 every time I go to IKEA. Strong recommendation, Wes from Baltimore." I don't know why they decide to write in about hot dogs, but I welcome it. I welcome it.
I need to go to IKEA. I
need to hear this.
You got the vegetarian meatballs when we were there.
Yeah, they were good. They were good.
Because I've tried vegetarian hot dogs before, because hot dogs are truly terrible for you, and I want to live forever. So, I'll try. They were terrible when I did try them, so I'll try a good one, an allegedly good one. I bet IKEA has good vegetarian hot dogs. I'll do that.
Oh, there was no question tied to this. I was like, what was the question?
No,
it was
question.
a PSA. Everyone.
Yeah, the PSA. Okay.
Do you think vegetarian hot dogs are easier to down than normal glizzies?
No, because it's inherently less processed. Maybe it's more processed, but no, I still think just that meat tube has been so refined over the decades that those glizzies are going down faster than a veg glizz.
Yeah,
I have 100%. A real traumatic. I've spoken about this before. I don't think on this show, but I've had a real traumatic experience with a hot dog. Phrasing on that is terrible, but when I was at an air show when I was a kid, I was a really, really fussy eater as a kid. To the point where I would eat things one at a time, like one pea at a time. My parents loved me somehow. But I remember wanting a burger, and it was very difficult for me to get things. So I just wanted a meat bun. And the burger that I had was made of hot dog meat. So you imagine, as a fussy eater, as a child, biting into what you expect to be a beef burger.
Yeah.
And it was hot dog meat, and I genuinely did not eat a hot dog for over 20 years until I lived with Greg, and he had some Portillo's, and that's when I had a hot dog. Yeah.
Well, how did they do that? What did they do? They just put several hot dogs next to each other,
slice it in half, and then
it looked like a burger.
That's messed up.
Yeah. And no shade on my dad.
That's messed up.
No shade on my dad, but he was like, "I've spent 10 pounds on this. You have to eat half of that."
Well, listen, that I respect and understand.
All right.
Sunderland Air Show, not even once.
Lucy, what is an air show?
You watch planes do fun stuff.
Yeah, you just watch planes.
Okay, that is an air show. Okay.
Yes.
Nathan from Tumwater, Washington writes in with a simple question. What video games do you like to play when you're mad?
Overwatch. But PC Overwatch.
Interesting.
Specifically.
Games that don't afford me time to think. So it'd be like anything like a Neon White or a Tony Hawk or Trials, stuff like that. Those time trials games.
Tony Hawk is a good shout.
Yeah, Tony was good. I played Sekiro. Sekiro was good.
Yeah.
For that,
Sekiro would
for
be
me.
great too. Sekiro's actually ideal for that too.
Yeah.
Lately, I've been
Yes.
playing Point P on
Point P.
phones.
Oh, is that the Netflix thing? I need to download
The
that.
Netflix joint, yeah. No particular reason other than it's on my phone and it's like a quick minute or two of playing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Got 2 more emails. Yes, 2 more emails. Sorry for trailing off there. Adam from Winnipeg writes, "Hello, Bombcast. I don't know if I want to read this anymore. I recently had to purchase some rope for a home project. As I have also recently injured my knee, I figured that I'll just order some on Amazon and have it shipped. I had no idea what the consequences would be. Ever since that single purchase, my recommendations from Amazon have taken a wild turn. Having to suddenly explain why Amazon is suggesting I purchase a Big Daddy mug to family members is a memory that will stick around for some time. If you need an explanation, take a look at some of the Amazon reviews of rope.
Yep.
All should become clear."
Okay.
Adam from Winnipeg. P.S. While everything is true, I just thought this was funny as hell. To everyone who lives that rope life, no shame. Keep being you, and lots of love to you.
I'm gonna look at the Amazon basics.
Yeah, what is
Natural cotton braided rope.
Rope.
just
review.
some rope?
It is uncomfortable against the naked skin. Well, that's not going to work for me and my needs.
Sorry. The customer questions. Is this soft enough to be tied up with? And then Lynn responds with, "I don't think so. I used it as a clothesline." Shout out to Lynn.
Shouts out to Lynn.
Fucking Lynn. Jesus. It's probably my Aunt Lynn, by the way.
Real Lynn sanity going on there.
It's my mom. Could be my mom.
Speaking about normal objects being repurposed, let's say, I remember the last time my partner and I went to Disneyland. We went to like a little Star Wars area, and for some reason they were selling like these Star Wars branded weird handcuffs. And then like my partner and I looked at them and then we were like, why would they sell this to children? And as we were saying that to each other, like a young, very attractive couple walks up and then like one of them grabs it, winks at the other, and like immediately purchases it. I'm like, all right.
Did you get their OnlyFans or did you have to Google it later?
Oh no, I just found their Reddit account and after we became best friends.
Right, fair enough. Yes.
Very good throwback though.
All right, last email from Logan from Evanstown. Hey Bombers, I recently hooked up my GameCube for the first time in a long time, and I realized I just don't have the excitement to play older games that I used to, and that makes me sad. Do any of you think you will really enjoy revisiting a game only to be semi-disappointed in practice? If so, how do you put yourself in the right mindset to enjoy a game to the fullest again, like you did in the past? Love, Logan from Evanston.
Don't chase it. Don't try to like chase that nostalgia. Yeah. If it's not happening, don't force it. Maybe it comes back around. Maybe it doesn't. It's like maybe it's sad, but you've probably already played many of your favorite games for the last time in your life, and that's okay. Like it's okay. You had the experience. That's the important thing. The experience is the treasure. Like it's not the little plastic thing you put in the case on your shelf. The experience you had is the magical thing. You have it. You don't have to recreate it. You already had it. Now, if you do get that enjoyment, go for it. Knock yourself out, but don't force it. Don't chase it.
Yeah, agreed.
How do
you can't chase that high.
How do you think it is when perhaps you're showing like a family member, like your children, or like a niece, nephew, like an older game? Do you think like you're trying to temper their expectations for stuff just because whatever you're showing them is drastically different than what they're used to? Or do you kind of just let them experience it? Do you try and like cater their experience?
Yeah, I've just like been mostly letting them go. Like I thought I would have to cater it. I thought I would have to like put it in context and stuff like that. But they either like it or they don't, and that's just true of everything. And a lot of times, Sonic shows up. They're into it. They see an old Mario game. They start playing like, hey, I recognize Mario. I'll play this for a little bit. And maybe it's not something that they're begging to play all the time. But sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and it's not. Giving them the added context is not going to make them like it more or less. They just jive with something or they don't, and they know it immediately usually.
Yeah.
My nieces are a bit too young. They're not into games yet. Well, no, that my youngest asked for a Sonic doll, like a Sonic stuffed toy, but I don't think she's ever seen any Sonic game. However, Aunt Luce will be going back to the UK and at some point to visit, and I will bring my Switch or something, I don't know, just to see.
Yeah, I mean, like I grew up with two younger brothers that were into games, so I got to like give them a bunch of games, and when I did that, I just kind of passed it on. I was like, "Have fun, figure it out, see if you like it." And it turned out like they liked some games. Like my youngest brother I found was way into Nintendo. Like, so he's a Legend of Zelda fan, he massive fan. My other brother was like into a lot of the same things that I was, like Metal Gear and like the From games and that kind of stuff, and now is like has graduated. They both have their own tastes now, and youngest one is super into JRPGs, and so like I feel like between the two of them, like I showed them all the games I loved, and they developed their own kind of like taste based on that. And together they are just like their tastes encapsulate everything I like. So they've got like two branches of my tastes on them, which is fun. But like I think like in terms of like nostalgia, if you want to feel nostalgic or want that high of like playing that game for the first time, I would recommend like just finding people who are doing first playthroughs of it on Twitch, on YouTube. Like you can often find people who are like entertaining to watch, they go through a lot of the emotions that you did when you first played through it, and you get to watch that happen, and it's really fun. There's a YouTube channel called K Plays that I really love, and she played through all of Dark Souls for the first time, and like she plays it at such her own pace. Like the first video episode is like maybe 5 minutes or 10 minutes long, and it's just all in the character creator. But like she plays the game with a kind of curiosity that I've never seen anyone else play it outside of like myself. Like or it's the kind of thing that the way you want to play, you want people to play, you get to see her play it, where she's like looking at things in the environment and being like, I wonder what this means, this is cool. And she doesn't have like a great deal of experience with video games, but you can see her proficiency get better and better and better, and like she's all the things that you want a first timer to do, like make the connections between an item description and a moment in a game. It happens to her, and you're like, that was very satisfying to watch happen. And I remember when it happened to me. Yeah, I can't recommend that enough.
Yeah, I feel like that is the enjoyment that Jess gets whenever we've done run 4, run to the hills, because this series is very, very near and dear to her heart, and I'm just a little scaredy cat and not making connections. So I think it's a little bit of a joy to watch me encounter everything. So I could echo that sentiment of watching someone newer visiting something that you like. Like for my Guilty Treasures, it was really nice and fun to see Danny experience the oddity that Tomba is.
Yeah,
I don't think I would really want to go back to Tomba, just knowing all the weird systems it's got going on that may not translate to today. Something similar though to you, Tam, I have found this dude on TikTok that decided to watch all of the Star Wars movies, and he's just doing quick recaps of them as he's going through them. And his level of excitement is intense as he's experiencing the twists and turns of Star Wars. He's going 4, 5, 6, then 1, 2, 3. And now he's doing the Clone Wars show. And Jesus Christ, I'm so invested in his investment in this series.
Oh, that's really
sweet. I have a similar one where I found like a boyfriend, girlfriend, partner duo, and he is showing her Naruto for the first time, and like he just films her during the entire thing, and then he overlays like scenes from the actual anime, and it's so good. Like watching her go on the highs and lows. Like I sometimes will go back and watch the like Rock Lee Gaara fight with her reacting to it, and it's like so good to see when he drops the weights and she's like and you're like, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds dope. That sounds dope. All right, that does it for emails. You at home can send your emails to bombcast@giantbomb.com. Every time I look into that email address, it's nothing but like a bunch of random offers and requests. Like the other day, I was like, hey, do you want this person to be on your show? This is the 5th time I've emailed you. Please respond. And then I think, oh, this poor PR person has to keep shopping her person around. I don't even think they were in the games industry. They just wanted them on the podcast.
Did you get the one? I'm not gonna name them, but did you get the alcohol video game tie-in where they wanted the character to be on the podcast? And I was like, oh, I don't know. This is for GameSpot After Dark. And I was like, hey, I'm not really sure how this would work. We traditionally don't really have that many guests on. And they were like, oh no, you'd message the questions over, and then we would get the voice actor to voice them, and then we'd give you those files, and it's to talk about this booze tie-in. And I was like, I don't think you know how guests on podcasts work. You're just asking me to run an ad for you. That was very weird. Ever had that one?
No, we have not. I'm kind of offended.
That's in the spam folder.
Yeah.
I'll
tell you who to look out for.
All right, we if you missed it and you're tuning in just now, earlier today, Grubb, Dan, Jason, and myself were joined by Mike Minotti and Super Eyepatch Wolf, and we the Power Bombcast had returned. We got some wrestling back proper on the website. For the rest of this week, it looks like business as per usual. Arcade Pit goes on tomorrow. Al Bummer, another episode of Al Bummer, perhaps a DNF dual quick look. We got the voicemail dump truck popping off. Arcadeageddon quick look with myself and Dan. We're going to take a peek back at that. I think it's now out of early access.
He said it broke for him, so we'll have to figure that out. But
maybe we won't. Maybe we'll do a quick look at something else. We got UPF. Also on Thursday, we have the Neon White Open with special guests, Winky Face, Honk Honk, Wink Wink Nudge Nudge. And for the rest of this week, Thursday to Friday, Grubb, what do we got? We got a mess going on.
Yeah, we got Game S mornings. We'll have one on Thursday. We'll have one on Friday. We'll have one. Today's Tuesday. Yeah, we'll have one tomorrow as well. Yeah, tune in for the Game S mornings. Yeah, with Lucy. That's right. And then Jen, you're doing Thursday, and Tam, you're doing Friday. Mm-hmm. We got the whole crew right here. Tune in. It's 11 a.m. Eastern. That's 8 a.m. Pacific time. So 8 a.m. for all of them and 11 a.m. for me.
Yes.
It worked out that way on purpose.
The and friends is the three of us. We're the and friends of the show. Anyway, everyone at home, I know, especially those folks in America, really, really rough times across the board. So when you can, take a break, take some time to yourself, play a game or whatever. And just take a deep breath, stop scrolling on Twitter for once. And if you're not on Twitter, good for you. I wish I could leave. I feel like I'm incapable of leaving now. But anyway, I have been Janice Shoa. He has been Jeff Grubb. She has been Lucy James. He's been Timur Hussein. I will not be back next week for the Giant Bombcast. Gonna take a little bricky break. Gonna sun my private parts. I'm sorry for saying that out loud.
Sun your perineum, whatever it is.
My perineum. But a lovely show will happen nonetheless. This has been the Giant Bombcast. We'll catch you next week, folks, for another episode.
I want to fuck though.
What?
The Giant Bombcast is hosted and live produced by Jan Ochoa, with support from Jeff Grubb, Dan Reichert, Jess O'Brien, Lucy James, Timur Hussein, Jason A. Stryker, Matthew Rory, and me, Jeff Bacalar. Our theme music is provided by Tom Monda. Our logo is designed by Dave Schopenek, and you can find him online with the handle @Dave Saved the Day. Justin Vachon is our sweet little art boy. And thank you so much for listening. Of course, a kiss on the cheek to you at home.